you give it up for a prolonged time, it's
awful.
It's terrible. I can't drink it. I will literally throw up right here.
I only like
McDonald's
Coke or like Fountain Coke. I don't like canned Coke.
Canned Coke is gross.
Even
the bottled
Coke isn't good.
But you drink Coke over Pepsi, right?
I like canned Pepsi. I like certain things. I like canned Pepsi.
No, I wouldn't pick Coke over Pepsi.
I like Fountain Coke.
You pick Pepsi over Coke? Really?
Oh yeah.
I mean, I worked for them for 18 years, so
I guess that's not fair. Yeah.
If McDonald's Coke is in the running, it's McDonald's Coke all day. But like Wild Cherry Pepsi,
depends on the place anymore.
Pepsi have a can.
I'm just saying regular Coke versus regular Pepsi.
Pepsi,
Wow.
unless it's Fountain Coke. If you're saying Fountain Coke versus Fountain Pepsi, Coke all day.
What if I said Fountain? What'd you say? Wild Cherry Pepsi?
Oh, Fountain Wild Cherry.
Fountain Wild Cherry Pepsi versus Fountain Coke.
Oh, Fountain Coke wins overall. McDonald's Fountain Coke wins overall.
Oh, put crack in that thing, huh?
It's just so good, man.
So, yeah, whatever I'm similar. Like I would rather have a Fountain Coke from McDonald's than a can of Pepsi.
Yeah. Despite you think Pepsi's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's something about it. They say they just make it correct. That's all it is. They supposedly make it.
They
correct.
ship it cold. They serve it cold, but the syrup is cold before it gets there.
I do remember basketball practice because like my mom would bring me McDonald's, which was great to eat before you fucking go run for miles and miles.
Chicken nuggets.
And like I remember the Coke was like a highlight. I remember that every time. I was like, man, I could drink fucking 50 of these.
Yep.
Of course, I was addicted to that shit big time.
Addicted to dicks.
We'll talk about it on the show.
All right. I think we're ready.
What segment's that?
Got notes. It's a new segment we're introducing for episode 69.
Yeah. Yep. That's true. I listened to that today too. We were talking about next one's a 69. We'll talk about our favorite sex tapes.
Wine and Dine and 69.
Yep.
All right. Let's hop in here.
Good evening.
Yeah.
Highlights of the news. Traffic accident. Beaver County man seeing how later.
What's going on, y'all? You're tuning in to the highest rated, most listened to podcast to ever grace the airwaves, and you're a better person for listening to us. All right, maybe not, but you're really going to enjoy it anyways. This is Made to Motivate Podcast, and we'll be talking social media hot topics, pop culture news, the greatest in movies and music, and all things sports. Make sure you're following us on social media at Made to Motivate Podcast on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, and you can watch the show on our YouTube. Thanks for tuning in, and with that being said, let's get this show started. Made to Motivate Podcast. Jesse responded 4 hours later.
Yeah, I saw that too.
What's going on, y'all? Made to Motivate Podcast. This is a big episode. It's large and in charge. It's episode 69. This is season 6, episode 9. This is your host, Ryan Weiss. I'm joined as always by Christopher, the Film Freak Kessinger.
We're not canceled.
Yeah, we're here. We're here. Daniel, the shoe guy, Denim Dan, the window guy, Sandmann.
All right, too many.
We gotta find a moniker
nicknames.
for you. One of those is gonna be it at some point.
What's going on?
What's going on?
Apollo Creed had a lot of nicknames. He was a good guy.
He was a good guy. As Chris likes to joke about, we've been gone for a little while. Look, I'm just gonna be up front. Things might get dicey over the next couple months. It's summer.
Dicey.
It's Northeast Ohio. We get busy. We try and enjoy the outdoors. We're gonna be doing some ride-alongs here and there that just might interrupt the show. So you know what? We'll be here when we're here.
For the record, one of those weeks is my fault.
Yeah, one of those weeks is Chris's fault. And one of those weeks is Dan's fault.
It might
I'm
be
not
more
always
than
to
one.
blame. So
Me?
either way,
No, for me.
Oh, that's say.
yeah.
For me, it's a couple.
But here, it's the deal. We're here now. That's what matters. We'll be here when we're here. We appreciate you listening. We're apologizing to those of you that check in and care when we don't post an episode. And we're going to make tonight's fun and exciting for you and worth the wait. So,
We're an absentee father on Christmas morning. We'll be back eventually.
wow.
My
We got lost at the gas station and we finally found our way back. We're here. So what's new? What's exciting? What's happening? It's been a month, I think. Last episode we posted was on April 14th.
5 weeks. Yeah.
We did have one we recorded between now and then. I just might have forgot to post it until today. So it is up. Christopher, what's new? What's hot?
The Braves won the World Series.
Did they?
Oh no, that's too far back. Never mind.
Oh, wow. This fucker.
Nothing, man. Just golf season's in full swing, literally and figuratively. We've got a lot of people lined up for the upcoming tournament, so looks like we're gonna have no problem hitting that 36, and I might even have to start flirting with 40 here soon.
Wow.
So
You flirtatious.
Flirty.
But yeah, other than that, I got off of vacation last week. That was amazing. Did 8 new slaycations for anybody who follows my site.
Yep.
I just go visit a new restaurant every day, write about it, and turned up with some good results. I recommend a few: Joe's Barbecue, Fizzle Sticks, and let's go with Remix because it's an ice cream bar.
Okay.
Yep.
You didn't like the one in Canton that much?
Table 6.
Yeah.
It was good. It's just. If I'm saying what's my best, it was just a little plain.
Yeah, I feel it.
It's good though.
Good deal. So mini golf's back in full swing.
Yeah.
Check that out.
Dan's our champion.
Follow along. Dan's the champ.
Oh.
No, he's not. No, he's not.
Fuck.
Dan, what's new and exciting?
Nothing.
Not a belt holder anymore.
No, I lost it. I shit my pants on the course.
Figuratively and literally.
I can attest to that.
Chris had to clean it up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Rules of the green.
They
Clean
say
up after yourself.
If you're gonna bring those barnyard animals here, you have to look after them.
Yeah, it wasn't a good showing by me. So, but hey, life goes on. That just means I get a shot at taking it back.
Two more games.
So,
What else? Anything else? Other than that? Busy working.
just that's something I wasn't used to for a few months.
6 of them.
Got back to work, training.
I even think it was longer than that.
It was 6.
Was
I think
it
it was
6?
6, yeah.
Jesus.
Oh,
October,
November.
I
December.
guess that's right. 6, 7.
Yeah, 6.
Let's just say 7, so I'm
I
right.
started May 2nd. So, but yeah, it's been fun. It's learning a lot. Can't wait to get out there and get out of training.
Feels good.
But,
It's nerve wracking when you go back, but it feels good when you finally do.
One thing I realized, and this is like an aha moment type thing, is
Take on. Oh,
I'm waking up like before my alarm right now. Like my alarms are set. I'm getting up earlier, and I feel it's because of the excitement of learning this new job and getting into it. Where at my previous job, you had to like pry me out of bed to get me going.
Yeah.
Like I just didn't want to do it.
doesn't that say something though? For sure. Like you were definitely burnt out with that.
I was done with it,
Yeah.
and now I found something that's a little more exciting, and yeah, I'm pumped for it.
Yeah, I know when I started my new job, it was like I was nervous just because it had been 2 months that I took off during the summertime. But at the same time, I was like, I'm excited to just get started again. I'm refreshed. Like I relaxed for 2 months. I hosted the tournament that year. And I wanted to get back. I was ready by that point. I'm not that kind of guy who sits around and just like does nothing. I enjoy it for a month here and there, but ultimately I'm a worker. So I want to get back out there as quick as I can.
Yeah, I was ready to get back at it in April, but I had to wait till May. I had to wait till May to get going, but I should be out doing what I got to do next week.
Trucking along.
Other than that, that's it. Really,
That's it.
It's the gas. I know we're going to talk about it later, but gas prices has just been too expensive for me to want to go out and do anything.
Yeah. It's going to be too expensive to even go to work soon.
Fucking stupid. Well,
You've
not
been
doing
busy.
much either, obviously.
Bullshit.
I didn't record the show. I didn't fucking edit the show. I didn't
Built something.
built some stuff. I've been doing housework. I'm just waiting on the boat. I'm happy that the good weather's here. Kind of. It comes and goes.
Should be soon, huh?
Boat should be soon. I got the hitch put on my Jeep finally after that fucking dumbass company couldn't figure it out when your name is literally a hitch company, but whatever.
Amazing Will Smith film.
Bro. It is a good movie. But yeah, so we're back. We got a fun-filled show. What do we want to start with? What are we excited about?
Not me.
Want to do Let's Get Social? Dan kind of already hinted at part of what we're going to talk about in Let's Get Social, so
I'm going last tonight.
we'll hop over to there. While Chris
It
finishes
is July 20th, 1969, and man is about to land on the moon.
Freedom itself was attacked this morning by a faceless coward, and freedom will be defended.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
That's the way the
go.
I'm impressed how long you've held it in. So like what we talked about before, I wanted to get it down as quickly as possible because I needed to burp. And obviously you can't burp till you finish. How has he gone this long without burping? I wonder if the slow and steady helps.
It's probably getting in the way of all the fatty foods I eat.
I felt like I had to burp like literally after like the second gulp. And then it was just a matter of like holding it in.
Yeah, and then the pressure just got too much for me.
Dude,
I couldn't. I could have probably like really tried, but I don't.
Chris.
I don't want to be that
You
uncomfortable.
got this. One more big gulp. One more big gulp. It's all that sugar. You don't drink pop. Let's get social, but I want to keep this on Chris because we got to finish this off strong. 2 of 3 is good percentage.
You got this.
You got this, bro. Oh, it's still coming back up.
I think I'm gassed out.
I still feel it like gurgling. He's going to a fucking coma.
Oh no.
He's gonna go into a coma. You did tell me this would happen to you though if you drank pop. He did it. He did it.
And he to the last drop.
Let her roar. Oh yeah. Don't throw up, please.
I'm not gonna puke. I got to burp bad.
You let him run. You let him rip.
He's like holding his
The burp challenge.
Twisting it.
Go ahead. I'll work back into it.
Yeah, you're good. So hey, 2 out of 3 successes. That's good. Dan could have probably made it happen, but
Dan would have done it.
it gets painful. There's a lot of pressure and gas in your stomach.
Fuck.
And Sprite of all is like I feel like one of the worst.
So the guy that threw up, he stood up and started walking away.
And then he was like,
"Ugh."
Yeah.
So I wonder if that
I just did a little one.
like rushed out.
There it is.
I wonder if that caused him to
Puke.
throw it up.
I'm good.
I'm no burps. Good for you.
No, I did. I just did the little
That's it.
one.
Little baby one.
I
Surprised,
just did
though.
the little one.
I had to.
His
fucking-
wasn't carbonated as much as ours was.
I had to call the dinosaurs.
Just happy I won a challenge for once.
Right. Dan hinted at this in his conversation in the intro, talking about driving and thus gas and things like that. And gas sucks right now.
It's
I
awful.
don't know if we've talked about gas prices
Worst in history.
on the show yet, really in depth or anything, but Northeast Ohio, where we're living right now, we're at 460-ish at the lowest and up into 530-ish
Let me pull up.
for premium, 93, 92, whatever.
I saw 439 on the way over.
Yeah. Okay. So we're right around 440.
I'm gonna
and
pull up
up.
Gas Buddy.
Gas Buddy. Look, I know we did talk about this briefly because we talked about with the war and stuff, and it's not uncommon for gas prices to go up when war happens. But that's kind of subsided at this point, and they still continue to rise. And then I saw an article today.
I think you're gonna hit on what I'm gonna hit
with
on.
Shell. I saw an article today shared about Shell and their quarterly profits for Q1. And granted, we're in a country of capitalism. Make as much money as you want, but gas prices are soaring. People are struggling to, be able to afford to get to work and stuff like that. And Shell set a record $9 billion profit.
Oh yeah.
Not 9 million in revenue, $9 billion profit in 3 months in the first quarter of this year. But you're telling me that gas prices are so high because of Biden or because of the war? We got to stop with it's the president's fault. Okay, well, I don't think President Biden is making Shell $9 billion in profit.
Didn't they say they released like millions of gallons, like a couple million
Barrels.
gallons
Yeah.
of?
He made an
barrels?
effort to kind of stabilize, and it worked for about a couple weeks, and then
It didn't. I haven't seen a dip at all.
it went down to about
It did-
390 again.
Yeah,
and
it dipped
then-
there briefly because I remember we were all like, "Oh fuck, it's at $4."
Yeah,
And then we're like, it's gonna get to $5, and then it did drop briefly to 370, 380-ish or so.
Yeah.
That lasted maybe one fill up for me, and then
Yeah,
I mean now we're back up to over $5 a gallon. It sucks. I mean, it's a small increase when you think about the price change, but depending on how often you need to fill up or how much you drive, people that drive for a living, I can't imagine the change in cost.
when you're used to you're used to filling up for $50,
Right.
And then you go to the gas station and you're spending $75-$80
Yeah.
when you're usually spending $50. I mean, that's
it's
a
a
big
lot.
difference.
what's
I
your
spent 40 normally to fill my Jeep up. 40 was usually my average. I just filled up a day or two ago for $66. It's almost a $30 difference. It's a lot.
What is your usual fuel habit? So do you let it get down? Like I go to a quarter of a tank and then I fill up.
It just is hit or miss for me, honestly. If I'm like needing gas and I notice the price is real low, I'll fill up just to fill up at the lower price. But I'll usually let it get down to a quarter or a little less, just depending on what the pricing is, you know?
Yeah. And you said that's how much for you, say, if you get to a quarter?
So, well, normally, oh no, full tank. Well, I'm talking 16 gallons, like, because I normally would fill full tank. At a full tank at 16 gallons, 15 gallons or so, I would spend about $40.
Okay.
And then I just filled up the other day, which wasn't even a full tank. It was 14 gallons and it was $66. Yeah. That's a lot.
Mine's usually from 25, like was the normal days. It'd take me about $25. Now it's
for 3/4.
Yeah. Now it's about 40.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
That's
like
crazy.
I haven't driven my STI in
Yeah.
like 2 weeks because
Gas guzzler.
gas. Yeah. It
I filled up to,
I shouldn't say 2 weeks,
I filled
but maybe
up
like a week.
I filled up some gas cans to mow the lawn. And I think I spent $20 for gas to mow the lawn.
Yeah, that's bad, man.
Because I got a 2 gallon, a 1 gallon, and then a 3 gallon thing. I filled all of them up. So 7 gallons at, $4. Yeah, it was,
I mean,
just for fucking lawnmower gas.
now think big picture. Fuel prices are at this rate. Every business out there relies on trucking and
that's why food costs never
travel, filling up those jet planes.
Yep.
Cost of everything is going to start skyrocketing just to accommodate this.
Groceries already are. I mean, anything you receive via, like you said, semi. I mean, we rely on semi trucks to move our stuff across the country.
$9 billion in profit.
$9 billion in 3 months. Yeah. 3 months. That's insane.
But keep depending on that oil.
We need to figure out a non-reliance on oil. The problem is that's the monopoly. That's our only source.
Yep.
Obviously, like for electricity and stuff, we've got coal, we've got oil. I mean, we use multiple sources, so that's different. We haven't seen huge spikes in like electric costs or anything yet. But when our vehicles are 90% oil based, I mean, diesel's different. But even diesel's expensive, and very few electric vehicles.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, the reason why I think electric vehicles haven't skyrocketed so far, the reason why is because, I don't think there's a good electric car out there that's $25,000 that can compete with my $25,000 Malibu.
Right.
So like, I think that's a big part of it is that these electric companies like the Volt, everything, they're going to have to come down a little bit.
Yeah.
They're going to have to make it affordable to the lower middle class person.
Yeah.
Good.
You're right. I mean, cost, and then also travel time. The range that you can get. You guys going into shock? You going into bubble gum? Bubblegum shock?
Dude, I'm shaking like crazy over here.
The range isn't. I mean, you got to think. Okay, you're going on a long drive. Now you got to pull off to the side of the road to plug your car in and sit there for an hour or two.
That's true.
To fill it before you can start driving again.
Or it takes like 5 minutes to fill up a gas tank.
Right. Yeah. So I mean, the technology is great. It comes down to a convenience thing again, like always. Like what's the convenience to us to be able to easily recharge the vehicle? They aren't cheap, like Chris mentioned. Tesla's base model originally was 30, so it was fairly reasonable cost, but he raised that. The base model is now like 45 or 50, I think.
Yeah, I know. I'm not affording no Tesla. That's for sure.
But even like you mentioned, like the Volts, there's other options out there. There's other electric,
and there's more coming.
Yeah. It just depends. The other concern that I've seen people talk about, and I haven't researched it a lot, is that it would be great for us all to drive electric vehicles, but then what does that mean for our electric infrastructure? Are we set up there? Our grids can handle every single person now plugging in their vehicle to charge it. Like how does that infect? What do we have to do to rebuild our electrical networks to be able to handle that surge and the access people using all at one time?
How much those go up, because now it's not our dependence on oil. Now it's our dependency on electric.
Yep.
It's just
it's all a balance. Yeah.
So something that I was actually talking about this on the golf course yesterday. One of the guys we were playing against, he has a Tesla, And I told him, how do you like that thing? He's like, I freaking love it. Best decision buying one of those. Instant power. I'm like, because with my job, I'm going to be driving a lot. And with the gas prices the way they are, it's like when I'm considering my next vehicle, I might consider an electric one.
Mm-hmm.
And I asked him about his electric bill, how much that has increased. And
it's minimal from what I've heard.
He's like, it's hard for me to tell because during the summer, when I do a lot of my driving, he doesn't drive often. He works from home, but he runs his pool. So he's not sure if the draw is coming from the Tesla or the pool. I started thinking like, what if I did like a solar panels specifically to charge your car? I think that'd be a good idea.
Yeah.
But I also talked to somebody that does solar panels and they said it's not worth it. Once you're connected to the grid, you're screwed.
But is that the case for like solar panels on roofing too?
Yeah.
Not just we're talking cars, but
yeah, she said that if you were to build a new home and do solar panels and not connect to the grid, you'd be fine. But once you connect to that grid, they're going to take that from you. They're not going to give you the reimbursement that you're supposed to. A lot of the sales reps that were selling the solar panels were claiming that you can basically have the electric company pay you for extra power if you're supplying.
That's what I had heard before.
And that's not happening because you're still drawing electric from them.
It's all
regardless. So you're not, unless you cut that wire, you're still pulling electricity from the electric company. So to get off of the fuel reliance, I don't know how easy that's going to be though.
It's not, I mean, it's not something overnight. It's definitely, I mean, you got to think we've had electrical type vehicles going on for quite a while at this point. It's not new. The major companies I think have come out and said they're going to release 20, 30 some models of electrical vehicles over the next, 5 to 10 years. So there's a push for it.
I think by 2030.
Yeah.
Is what a lot of them are saying.
Yeah. So I don't know. I guess we see what happens, but then like Chris kind of hinted at, it's an exchange of hands at that point.
Mm-hmm.
Now it moves from gas to electric. So now they have the power at that point to manipulate. It's just when we're relying on one source to fuel that many vehicles.
And the thing is, when you do the electric argument compared to the oil one, when you say like, well, they're charging us out the ass and all that, now it's on ourselves.
Right.
It's not on some foreign dictator or some country or anything like that.
Right.
We say we charge our own electric, so we fucked ourselves.
Yeah.
So the greed is internal, not external.
It absolutely is. I mean, come on, Shell's US based.
Yeah.
I mean, $9 billion in profit is
ridiculous.
Insane.
Yeah.
Who knows what that CEO makes? You're talking about after you paid him his billions that I'm sure he makes, and everyone in your company and all of your expenses, and you profited $9 billion in 3 months.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Those guys have so much money they haven't even seen yet.
Yeah, but you got all these people out here struggling to be able to afford to
drive to work,
to drive to work to make the money. At that point, you're spending your income, your day's income, just to fucking drive to work.
I'd like to expand on what Dan said a while ago about that bleak outlook on the future. So think about that for a second. If gas hits like they're talking about, it could even hit $8, and
in California, it's up there.
Yeah, they're saying that might be a reality for the whole country, though. So like, if you literally can't afford to drive to work, that now puts the already endangered businesses on an even bleaker outlook.
Yeah.
So what's the compromise? Do businesses need to step up and pay even more to their employees?
It becomes an energy crisis. I think the government has to get involved at some point.
Yeah.
Subsidize, start utilizing our own. We have availability for it. Pushing further into getting external or other sources of energy. But I think that kind of is an all around concern with any increase in expense. If things continue to rise, you're going to have to balance it out with increase in pay. I mean, that's just the nature of the game. If the cost of living is going to drastically increase the way it has been, well, like people aren't going to be able to afford to live off of if you don't change the pay to compensate for it.
Inflation was what, 8% this year?
Yes.
Yeah. And what's your average raise that you get from your job? 1 to 2%, 3%,
3% is what they say that they usually most employers say 3%. it's not worth giving a raise unless it's at least 3%. So they aim for around that.
I think I was 5 last one.
I don't think I ever had a 3% raise.
Yeah.
2%, 1%, no percent. But if your cost of living is outpacing your livable wage, you're creating a much bigger gap.
Yeah, bigger divide for sure. Yeah.
And that's wrong. And then I know I think it's the Department of I don't know who determines your taxable fuel costs, like
right,
reimbursement.
Government.
Transportation.
Yeah, the government.
And they do it once a year. Yeah. And they did it before these big spikes in price.
Yeah.
So now those that are affected aren't getting a fair reimbursement.
Yeah. They're going to need to do a stimulus again. We're going to need some kind of like gas stimulus or something to be able to help people afford
I heard
gas.
that there's talks about something like that.
Really?
I'd have to research it more, but I had heard that they are doing a fuel stimulus.
Yeah.
Look, here's where I get to play the asshole. No offense. We gave all that money to Ukraine just now, and we're fucking still suffering on our own soil too.
Absolutely. I mean, I think about the places that like driving is there. I mean, you got to think about someone that does like an Uber or DoorDash. I think Uber did, but DoorDash, I haven't seen anything where they've implemented like an upcharge to help the drivers counteract the increase in gas. I think Uber had implemented something where they were going to raise deliveries like $2 or something each so that the drivers had more money to offset the cost. But I mean, I can't imagine a lot of people wanting to be doing DoorDash right now or being a taxi driver or Uber driver or something with you're not making any extra money.
And that's a problem too, because a lot of orders I think will actually go down. Now, granted, to where people don't want to drive to the drive-in and get something to eat because it'll cost them gas money. But I think if you raise that too much on DoorDash, that they're going to say, it's too much.
It's going to hurt both ways.
Yeah.
I mean, people aren't going to want to go out and do it, and then you're not wanting to pay for it if it gets too expensive. I mean, it's not cheap now. Already it's more expensive because most restaurants, their cost of food is higher.
Yeah.
Because they have to offset the fact that they're losing money by paying it to DoorDash. So you're already paying, we'll say $4 for an item that maybe cost you $2.75 at the restaurant. And then you're paying DoorDash for the charge,
delivery fee,
tax. Them. I mean, it's already way more than just going there yourself. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see where we end up. I don't know how much higher this I don't know where the end is.
I read an article the other, like I said, they said $8 nationwide. Bro, expected this summer.
If it's $8 a gallon to drive, I mean, honestly, people aren't going to leave their house.
I don't think I can go to work, honestly.
Yeah, people won't, and that's just it's just gonna be a domino effect.
Yeah,
I mean, if people aren't spending money, people aren't going to be able to afford to go to work. What do you do?
Yeah,
what a mess.
Do you see Tesla's opened up the pre-orders for that semi?
It's fucking dope.
They have a semi?
Yeah. They announced it like 5 or 6 years ago, but then nothing ever happened with it.
Yeah. They just started opening up pre-orders, $20,000
deposit, right?
20. Oh,
yeah. Deposit.
Yeah, $20,000
to pre-order
deposit.
it.
Yeah. I was like,
what was it? $100 for the Cybertruck?
Something. It wasn't that bad for the Cybertruck, but yeah,
20,000, and you have to have at least 15,000 in a electronic transfer.
Yeah, like a wire transfer. I mean, semi trucks are expensive as it is.
Yeah.
So I mean, those things are really expensive.
But what do you think? What do you think the ticket price on one of those?
Probably like $100,000.
Yeah, typical truck is about 100 or 120.
Yeah, I'd say at least like $100,000.
Yeah.
For the Tesla?
Yeah.
I think more. I think
his pricing isn't really too far out of realm of like, I mean, you can get a starter base Tesla for like 45.
Yeah, we're talking a semi.
No, I know, but I think it would fall somewhat in line.
You gotta think of the batteries.
I'll go 125.
Yeah. I think
they haven't said what it is.
I'd say $250,000.
Really? What the fuck what would you do with a semi truck? Like if you're an average everyday person?
You wouldn't. It's for businesses.
Oh, so they buy them. Okay, I got you.
It's for
But why would you buy that one as opposed to like a regular one that you could get for $100,000?
Fuel costs.
Yeah, I think it's just the electric. It says this says right
carbon
here.
footprint.
I don't know, man. You're spending more money regardless.
It says the Tesla semi provides 200,000 plus in fuel savings. I don't know what a 2-year payback period means, but it says you can save up to 200,000 just in your fuel savings alone.
I don't know, man. To me, that's a lot like that argument I had for the Volt. It's like until they come down to the normal everyday person, I don't see how it can compete.
Oh, so here's your cost. So the 300-mile version, 150,000. The 500-mile version, 180,000.
If you bought 5 Tesla trucks for your business would be out of business.
Dude, and
let me see what the average semi costs.
Here's what you got to think about. 500 miles, some of those long haulers.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, 500 miles. How far is that?
It's not that far.
That's not that far. Yeah.
It's not that
Columbus
far.
is 110 miles.
So how long is it
here to Charlotte? I do it every year.
How long does it cost?
How long is it going to take to recharge? Now you got to factor that timing in to your driver, because they're only allowed to drive for so long, and then they got to sit there and wait for their truck to charge up.
Okay, so it was 150 to 100 and what did I say?
80.
150 to 180, and then a regular semi truck they say is around 150, 160 if you get one with like a bunch of upgrades.
That's that much? Wow.
So it's really not that far off.
That's why I knew semi, like the tractors are usually like over 100,000 alone.
Yeah, so
that's why I was thinking like 250 for.
It's right in line with what a regular one is. That's crazy. But yeah, 500 miles. Okay. But then here's the thing though. They're only allowed to drive so far before they have to sleep.
Hours.
Yeah. So
many hours.
500 miles
is 8 hours.
That's almost 10 hours. Yeah. 8 hours.
That's 8 hours.
Which I think is all they're allowed to drive anyways. So they just stop, charge while they're sleeping, and then keep going.
You better plan out accordingly, because that's not a long day for a trucker, man.
Well, the nice thing about Teslas is when you're planning a route, it'll actually plan
your route
their
towards
superchargers along the route.
Gotcha.
So like because my brother and sister-in-law have one, and whenever they'll go on like a trip, you can set it that it plans a route that it will follow like the Tesla supercharger.
And it
knows where you need to, stop along the way.
Yeah.
It's pretty wild. The technology is crazy.
I don't know, man.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's a lot.
I don't, but it's the issue is that we have to do something.
Yeah.
And we just have to have the willingness to do it, whatever that might be. If it's electric or hydro vehicles, or we have the ones that do both, gas and electric, whatever
About
it
to
is.
Flintstone these bitches.
You see people fucking using those free scooters around town to go to work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Whatever those things are.
Get a moped. Shit.
Honestly, at this point, if it gets bad enough, public transit is going to become a reality for a lot of people. I feel like. They have the things.
Can you see me getting
dude? I used to do it.
Getting on a bus with my windows presentation stuff, getting dropped off at the customer's house.
Obviously, for all people, it will not work. But I do know that they have like the park and ride.
Yeah.
Like where there's one right over on Gent Road and Fairlawn where they're just giant parking lots where you drive there and park your car, and then it takes you to like Cleveland or wherever.
They have it in Cleveland too.
Yeah. So I know that's a big thing where those go direct from like that place to wherever, and you just hop on. It's wild.
Do you pay gas on that? Like, do you just pay so much of the gas every week
for the bus? You just have a bus pass.
If you're all okay,
so you have a bus pass, and maybe those cost $30 a month or something, and it's unlimited rides.
That's so
but
sad.
anything like mass transit, like even just like the Metro bus, you can just have a monthly pass. You pay whatever the flat fee is, and then just ride unlimited.
I hate mornings. Okay. I do not want to be next to anybody in the morning.
Well, the thing that sucks about that is, it's great that it's available to people that don't have a vehicle or in this case can't afford gas, but you also have to take into account the time different.
Yeah.
You got to think your normal 20-minute drive
could
now become an hour and a half because you got to fucking stop every 15, 30 stops that there are along the way. And you got to change buses or whatever it is.
Oh, thank you.
It's not fun. But that's the reality we might be in. If things don't get any better, I don't know what we do. I don't know how much involvement people want to put the blame on the government, whether you're anti-Biden, anti-Trump, whatever it might be. They have some ability. Obviously.
I wanted to say something on that too. Yeah,
they have some ability. Obviously, we know we have gas reserves, we have oil reserves. We can work with that. There's the pipeline that we know Biden shut down. Everybody thinks or believes that would have solved the issue, which maybe it did.
They just canceled 2 contracts in Alaska.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's not helping.
It's tough though, because I get like that's the problem with the oil reliance, though.
Mhm.
Oil, we need the oil because we need to be able to power our vehicles, but it's terrible for the world.
Oh, it's atrocious.
It's
Yeah.
awful.
Yeah.
So I mean, that's why with the pipeline they stopped. Part of it was the Indian reserves that it went through and stuff, and there was the big uproars and people not wanting that. So that was a big issue with it. But it's terrible for the what's the word I'm looking for?
Environment.
Not environment, but there's a different word I'm looking for.
Ozone.
I don't know. Either way, it's bad.
Ecological.
That's what something ecological. I can't think of the word I was looking for though.
Equilibrium.
So like,
Environment.
how often do we want to keep doing it? I mean, I don't know. I don't know what the next step is.
I just think, there has to be a foolproof plan in terms of to get ourselves off that reliance. And as we just talked about for 20 minutes, when you have one reliance, you're going to have it somewhere else. You're going to have to find it somewhere else. So does that spike in, energy? Does it spike in water? Whatever you want to run this car on, fart fuel, does it get taxed even more? Right.
I don't know what we do.
Is the word you're looking for? Stour.
No, it's not a dust cloud.
Stour.
It's not a dust cloud.
I'll tell you this, after COVID and now the gas crisis that's going on, they're going to have to work really hard to figure out something to fuck us over after this. Like, I mean, how are you going to top the bar on that? Jeez.
Right around summer's coming too.
Yeah.
Yep. People are going to be traveling.
People want to fucking be able to go on vacations and drive. And fucking fuck. More exciting news. Great conversation. Let's Get Social is always so uplifting.
Great transition.
Is this was, I can't remember what the number was on how many this is for the year. Like 160th or 70th mass shooting this year. There was a mass shooting in Buffalo.
I think it was 162
over the weekend. It's always awful regardless of the victim, but I looked at the pictures and the people that were the victims of this, and it's just like grandmas and grandpas. Like, you went into it. One, I didn't know Top still existed. You remember Top was here?
I was saying the same thing when I saw it on the news.
So I was at Tops and I was like, that's still a thing.
It's not here.
But I'm looking at these pictures. I'm like, this dude went into a supermarket and just shot up like a bunch of people's grandmas and grandpas. Like, you're a fucking piece of shit.
And what they have in common.
Well, we all know it was race related. Yeah. They were all African American. Every single one of them. They were 60, 70, 80 years old. So often when we see mass shootings, it's like younger people. They're at movie theaters, they're at nightclubs, they're at concerts. It's things like that. When I just saw it was all these old people, I'm like, God, man, like, what a piece of shit you are. I don't know what I don't know. There's this never ending thing. Like, we'll never have a solution. We'll never have an understanding of how we fix it. But the hate crime thing, I just don't get.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand why that's like, you woke up that day and you said, I'm going to go shoot up a bunch of African Americans just because. Like, what the fuck is wrong with you?
Did you hear about the shooter too? That I guess he had been promising this at his school too.
It's
Yeah.
Was it a younger person?
Yeah.
See, I haven't seen that yet.
It's a teenage kid
that did that.
Yes. So like he had been saying like he's writing songs about this to classmates. They're overhearing him and he's talking about, I'm gonna go kill some, the word.
Wow.
And all this and I'm like, far too often this is the spoof that we see on shooters where they go like, wow, I could have changed it all if I had just heard, he was such a special boy.
But I feel like it happens more often than not where we know there's signs and we don't do anything.
And we just ignore it. We talked about that a year ago on this show
with the parents with the kid.
Yeah, it doesn't concern them, so they just look the other way. Sorry, Dan.
No, you're 100% right. It's just the thing that it's all I know. I'm just trying to get my thought. The kids these days, everybody is tiptoeing around how to hold accountability, and they're they're tiptoeing on punishments, on again accountabilities and what to do.
Right.
That maybe they're afraid to say something because they don't want to piss off somebody else. Yeah. When by not saying anything, you're causing more damage than you would if you would have made that parent mad.
Rock the boat.
It's so frustrating that these schools, these teachers and principals are so like strapped on what they can do. When I was in school, there was punishments left and right.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I'm almost 40. I think most of the kids I went to school with turned out pretty damn good.
Yeah.
We've gotten to a point in society where we just, I mean, I say we're soft, but it's just we've gotten to this point with like acceptance of everything that it's just kind of like become a free for all. Like we're too afraid to offend anybody. We have to be accepting of every single thing, no matter what it is, whether it seems ridiculous or not.
There's consequences for everything.
You can't do anything without it being turned into a huge. I mean, people will lose jobs, lose their lives, lose family over thinking or opposing someone else's view. So everyone is, like to Dan's point, is afraid to do anything. You know,
this is especially the case with teachers. This is why I wish kind of Jesse was on the episode this week, because it's like, especially in his case, he has to think twice about everything that he does. You know, it's a very unique situation that he's in.
Yeah, I don't know what we do. It's just crazy to me that in this day and age that there's still these racial battles. There's still these racial wars, that this is still a thing that we haven't, of all the things we've evolved in and all the things we've grown past and accepted, we still are fighting this.
Yep.
And gun violence. Like, I don't know why in this country we have such an issue. Like, we're just fucked up like people in this country are just fucked up. I don't know if it's because
it's selfishness.
Everything's just given to us and it's greed or what it is, but
it's pure selfishness. People are too reliant on guns, just like we talked about oil a minute ago. People are too reliant on guns that they let it motivate everything that they do. I myself am a gun owner.
Yeah.
I have one too, you know. So, but my thing is if it's between gun safety and, you know, or having my gun and having some kid being safe and having a bunch of elderly people being safe, I'd rather them be safe. I can see the fucking thin line there. Most people can't. When it comes to it, they go, you know, and I've heard a lot of comments when it comes to this whole topic recently. They go, man, have you ever noticed that whenever a Democrat is, you know, losing the popular vote, that now all of a sudden there's a shooting and there's this and that. And I'm like, you are so blind
delusional
to that gun, man, that you can't fucking see the light through the trees.
People always turn to the, like, you're infringing on my rights argument over everything. It's nothing to do with that, man. Like, I mean, like you said, I'm a gun owner. I believe in the ability to own a gun safely and to protect yourself.
As do I.
But these sorts of things are just crazy. Kids should not be having guns and going and shooting up schools. I mean, adults shouldn't be fucking owning guns and going and doing mass shootings. But like, why are children shooting up their schools and we're not smart enough or present enough to know that these things are happening or being willing to address them and talk about them? You know, it's
how's a teenager this evil? I mean, as you said, they're elderly people, man.
Yeah, I didn't realize they were just a younger person. Just based on like the victims and where it was and everything. I didn't realize it was a kid.
Here's the thing. I don't justify any shooting. If it happens to classmates, I see that motivation though. Like, I understand where that's coming from. Right. It's something internally was picked on, you know, something else along that line. What makes you go into a store, not even in your own city,
right,
far across? I forget how many miles it was from his home. They said he drove over an hour to Buffalo to do this.
A piece of shit.
And shoot up a bunch of strangers who will never see their families again. That's their last image of it. You are below evil.
It's just an awful thing.
You're worthless.
To take anybody's life, to take that from someone is just the one thing you can't get back. You will never get back. It's not robbing someone or stealing their car or whatever. Like, that's one thing you're a piece of shit, man.
Yeah.
I hope that, I don't know. Was he under 18?
I think he was 17.
At that age, I don't think it really matters. He'll be charged as an adult, hopefully.
Yeah. 10 people.
Spend the rest of his life in jail, which great. I mean, so what? He's gonna go fucking sit in jail and play basketball and
on our dime,
eat 3 meals a day.
And it's just like our criminal situation. I mean, it's not easy.
Oh, don't get me started.
It's not easy. I talked about it on the show before. I watched that like Locked Up show or whatever, or it was like The Undercover, and it's pretty sketchy, but it's still not as bad. I mean, you fucking kill these people and you're still fucking just live your life and have no work. No, you literally relinquish any responsibility anymore.
Yeah.
You don't have to go to work. You don't have to worry about paying rent. You literally get to fucking sit there and watch TV and read books and play cards and eat and fucking shower and do nothing all day, every day.
End of the day, I go, maybe I'm in prison.
Right. I'm like, yeah, right. I'm like, what the fuck, man? So fucking frustrating. I don't know how we end it. I don't think it's anything that we can ever. I mean, it's going on for this long. It's like, when do we find a resolution?
Take ownership. That's all.
I think the problem is in this country, we're so far gone with just where we've gotten to that there's no way to fix it unless there literally would have to be like a civil war, a revolt, a takeover of our government to fix any of the stuff. It's just there's no one holds any power anymore.
I think that was coming, honestly, and that's what that January 6th day was a lot about.
Yeah.
I think honestly we were heading toward a civil war, and we might still be getting there too. But I think at least halted it for the time being.
Yeah, we need something. I mean, our government. I'm not saying we need a revolt or a civil war, but we definitely need a government overhaul. I mean, we have been under the same structure forever with realistically no change, and that doesn't allow for us to evolve with the times that we live in. You know, like the two-party system. The way that the people that are in office for how long they're in an office, you know, the way that our government benefit systems works, like there's a lot of work to be done to get ourselves in a situation that makes sense for the days we live in now.
Can you think about this for a second? The U.S. is trying to push democracy on other countries. Do you think they're sitting back there like, you're trying to tell us how we should run our country? Look at your fucking country that's going on. Like,
look who's talking.
It's true, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting there thinking about that. Like,
the U.S. isn't the top tier, the echelon of countries anymore. We're not like a polished piece of shit.
That Jeff Daniels clip that always plays on the internet from
So
that
good.
shit, dude. That's the one I always go back.
What is that? What's that show?
It's a show. I can't remember what it's called, but it's on Showtime.
Best video.
But yeah, and he talks about we're 144th in this, we're 106th in this, we're blah blah blah. He goes, you know what we are in the lead for? Gun violence. You know, he goes in all these other bad categories. He goes, so we're not the best country in the world anymore.
We're really not, though. I mean, it's not the same thing that we used to be. You know, everyone used to look to us as like, man, they've got it so good there.
The example.
You know, I mean, we do have it a lot better than a lot of places. I'm not saying that, but it's not. We're just not that anymore. We're not the number one country in the world anymore.
When he talks about the freedoms too, he goes, so why are we so great? And then one of the other girls says freedoms. He goes, freedom, huh? Here's where you can find freedom. And he gives a list of like 20 countries. He goes, there's freedom there. There's freedom there. And they all have better justice systems than ours.
Right. It's corrupt.
And healthcare systems.
The power and the greed is really what has destroyed us. I mean, there's just no accountability.
Yeah.
You know, this thing with Shell is a perfect example. Sure, they should be able to be successful and make money. I'm not saying that, but
at the hands of everybody else struggling to get to work.
Yeah.
Like struggling to fill up their tank. They're only doing it because they can.
Right.
I agree.
And you can sit there and tell me supply and demand, bullshit.
No.
Same amount of people have been driving.
Profit. You still made a shit ton of money.
And it's so easy to produce oil too. It really is. In the grand scheme of things, it is so easy to produce oil. It's just funny. Like you could cut their profits in half and they would be set. Their grandkids would be set. Their grandkids would be set for the next 10 lifetimes easily. It's sick. It's disgusting. It is the definition of greed.
Yep.
I'm trying to see what he makes.
What the
CEO Shell.
Oh, Jesus.
So it looks like he made 8.2 million in 2021.
It's peanuts to Elon. Elon and Bezos is like shit.
Yeah, but I mean, even
piss on that guy.
like he makes 8 million a year. Oh wait, is Shell European based?
Yes.
Oh, I thought they were US. Well,
more dependency.
They're fucking us all then too. It's not even our own fucking company at that point.
Very few oil companies are actually US based.
Yeah. But it's Biden's fault, by the way.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Here's the thing. I don't need to have the talk about Biden with anybody. Look, I am his least supporter.
I could care less.
But that's not the problem.
Yeah.
It never has been the problem. It's the fact that we rely on something that's so outdated that it predates Joe Biden.
It's just a fucking mess, man.
You like that?
It's just a fucking
That was my
mess.
summary statement. I'm done.
predates the oldest man alive.
Yes. That's how long this problem's been going on for.
Enough depressing stuff. Well, we're going to go from one depressing conversation to another. We're just going to do it in sports instead. Catch you in locker room talk.
Must be about the Browns.
Or the Suns.
45-40. Run, William, run. 20, 15. Iguodala to Curry. Back to Iguodala. Up for the layup. Oh, blocked by James. LeBron James with the...
This is locker room talk.
I'm going to say this right now. I know where this is going. Before you begin, tread very carefully. We're in your basement.
So, welcome to Locker Room Talk, where we talk all things sports, including the Phoenix Suns blowing the playoffs once again. NBA playoffs are kicked off. We're in the Final Four.
Yep.
Well, they don't know if they call it the Final Four.
They kicked off? When did they kick off?
They kicked off, threw off, fucked off.
Just yesterday?
They're playing Final Four.
Final Four?
What do they call it? What is it in the NBA? It's the Final Four?
Tip-off.
Conference
Tip-off.
championships?
Tip-off?
Yeah, tip-off.
No, but I mean, do they call it the Final Four?
No, it's the Eastern and the Western Conference
Okay,
Finals.
That's where we're at.
I say Final Four. I don't give a fuck.
Something like it's 4 teams.
It's
They're the Final
college.
4 teams, whatever. Same
Yeah.
fucking thing.
I do it for our golf league too. I go
We've
Final Four
got-
every year.
Well, you're allowed.
The
Make rules for that.
Mavericks. We got the Mavericks in Golden State,
Yep.
and then the Celtics and the
Miami.
Heat, right?
Yep.
What do you guys? Who are you predicting for the finals? You guys have a prediction?
Me or you?
I don't care about basketball right now.
Chris, who do you think is going to be in the finals?
We made our predictions, remember, on our last episode.
Did we?
Yeah.
For the finals?
Yeah.
I gotta
just
go.
call me
back and
Jesse Young.
revisit.
Here's the thing.
But has it changed since last?
One side has because I have
Okay.
no choice to.
Yeah.
But I'd said before the playoffs began, I said Brooklyn and Golden State
Oh, right.
were the two, and Golden
that's
State's
obviously not happening.
gonna win it all. Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Celtics are good, man. They're really good. They opened my eyes. Not only did they beat the Nets, they fucking swept them.
Yeah.
That opened my eyes big time. I was like, this team is probably gonna go to the finals now.
Yeah.
So I was wrong on that. I was wrong on Phoenix losing to Dallas. I had Phoenix losing to Golden State in the next round. I didn't have Phoenix winning it though, so
No.
I'm not rocking that boat. But yeah, it's been an interesting playoff so far. I have to say, a lot of these series are really going the distance.
Yeah. Yeah. You had a game 7.
Yeah, we had game 7, a historically bad game 7, 27 points at halftime, game 7, a 27 points that Luka Doncic also had at halftime, game 7.
Unreal, bro.
yeah.
What a fucking game.
Yeah.
Dan doesn't give a shit about the playoffs. I didn't follow it too much, but I didn't. I honestly thought Bucks were gonna go.
Yeah,
past
that was,
Celtics.
man, that was tough.
And I thought Phoenix was gonna go. So those were two that I was really surprised by. Golden State, I'm not surprised by. I would love to see them not win it again.
The rumors are worse for us now.
Celtics is gonna be it's gonna be a tough game though if it's Celtics and fucking.
I will
Golden
say I
State
am
again.
surprised that the Heat are where they're at.
Yeah,
I didn't see them getting there,
Yeah,
but I don't think they're going to win this series.
They've had an easy road to
Celtics are
here,
tough.
though. I think Celtics are a gritty team. Now, here's the thing. Miami won last night. They won game 1, but I expected that because Boston's tired. They've only had a 1 day of rest between, as to where Miami has been off since Friday night. So I expect that. And here's the thing. Boston was without 2 of their best players, Al Horford and Davis, whoever. I can't remember his first name right
Larry
now.
Bird.
Two of their best. They were without 2 of their best players. So I'm like, they only lost by 9 points. I'm like, I feel good about them in game 2.
Do you think that you or Lil Wayne was more upset about the Phoenix Suns losing?
Lil Wayne, because I expected it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a crazy story, man. So Lil Wayne is basically Chris Paul's best friend in real life, and he was there.
Yeah.
He was there to support his boy. Chris Paul stunk up the house for the 5th straight game, and then basically got into a fight with Mark Cuban, the Mavericks owner, an online war of words after Mark Cuban commented his Twitter feed that said Luka is a hoe. So Mark Cuban responded back and said Lil Wayne is, I can't remember what he said. He used some kind of words, but
Yeah.
Wayne got pissed and now they're going back. Lil Wayne talking about pissing in his.
He said he was gonna piss down his throat or something. Bro, you are a grown ass man. You don't talk about pissing down someone else's throat on Twitter.
Fuck the pillow, fuck the sheet. I'll wake up and beat my meat. Ow, baloney.
What a fucking weirdo. Some R. Kelly weird ass shit.
We're gonna lose Ayton too, by the way, in the offseason. So
Oh my God.
yeah, because Monty Williams benched him in the third quarter and they got into a fight on the sidelines that only a few reporters were able to catch.
Really?
Yeah. So he benches him, and Ayton said something to him that nobody caught, but then Monty Williams says, "You've got no soul and you gave up on us." Ayton was not the biggest problem of that game. You should go talk to Chris Paul. You should go talk to Devin Booker.
Bro, that game, I mean, come on. You came off the best record in the NBA for this year.
64 wins.
Come off the best win in the NBA. You're a game 7 and you play that awful.
You shouldn't need motivation.
It's game 7.
And that game was so bad that the Suns PR came out the next day. I don't know if you saw this, issued an apology to fans and said, "Thank you for riding with us. We hope you'll be with us next year." I could not wait to comment that on Facebook. I've gotten so much hate from Suns fans over that. I said, "Yeah, that's great. Yeah, give us your money more. We need you next season, please."
Right. Bro, it was bad. I mean, I only cared because I know how much you love the team.
Mhm.
Like, I didn't care about them winning anything. There was nothing vested in it for me.
Sure.
But watching that game, when I was in the halftime, I'm like, this is embarrassing, man. Like, you have under 30 points going into the second half of an NBA game 7.
Yep.
Players are scoring more than that themselves. It was awful. It was awful.
Here's my thing. I'm sure if Jesse was on this episode, he'd probably disagree with me, but like,
imagine that.
A lot of people love Luka Doncic. They're ready to anoint him. They've already anointed him the second Larry Bird on TV. I watched him for a whole series, man, 7 games, and I gotta say his skills are very limited.
Is he a hoe?
I think he's not a hoe. He can play, but I don't think he's one of the best players in the NBA.
Yeah.
He's very limited. The reason he's able to create shots is because of his body mass. He boxes out guys like Chris Paul because he's twice the size of Chris Paul.
Yeah.
And he's got a nice 3 shot. Other than that, I see him very limited. Once people, this is why I think Golden State's going to shut them down. Once they lock up on the 3 ball, he's going to have a lot of trouble, and he's going to depend too much on these other players.
Yeah, for sure. I can see that.
So I think Golden State's going to win in 5.
Whoa.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So Dallas likes to shoot the 3 ball. Meet the team that shoots it better than anybody else.
Come on, the best 3-point shooter ever.
3 of them.
Yeah.
3 of them on the same team.
Which is wild.
And they're all homegrown. So you can't say like, oh, they traded because they outspent people. They're all homegrown.
Yeah. What a fucking team.
By Steve Kerr. Where did Steve Kerr come from? Phoenix.
Yeah. Or the Cavs.
The Cavs.
You could argue, yeah.
Cavs.
How are they doing?
The rest
didn't make the playoffs.
14th spot in the draft. Woohoo.
Jesus. Who got number 1?
Oh, Orlando.
Orlando, that's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wild. The only other thing that was really going on in sports, relevant to us anyways, is the Browns, Jesse's team, Jesse's boy, ride or die, Deshawn Watson. He had his sit down or meet and greet, interview, hearing, whatever you want to call it, with the NFL, I think yesterday or 2 days ago. And then speculation's coming about what's going to happen. What's the season going to hold for the Browns? What's going to happen with Watson? Is he going to be sitting? We've had our speculations on what we think is going to happen. Now, we talked about it previously. Supposedly, allegedly, he's not guilty of anything. It was dismissed. There's still civil cases going on, but
now we get to hear Browns fans start saying allegedly.
Right. So
funny how that turned around all of a sudden, because when they first got him, a lot of them were mad at him, and now it's, well, he might not be guilty though.
Allegedly.
It's the Browns, bro. Come on. Whatever it takes.
Allegedly.
Homer punch.
So I don't know what that means in the eyes of the NFL. I mean, there's been other players who have been accused of things and found not guilty, and they still had to sit, be benched, miss games, whatever it might be. My initial prediction was I thought he was going to be out the whole season. I don't know if that's a reality with everything being written off. I do think a minimum of 6, though. I think he sits at least 6 games. What do you guys think? I mean, me and Dan really don't care.
Well, I want a concrete number from you.
But,
you said a minimum of 6, but I want a concrete number.
Fuck. I want to say the full season, but I don't think that's realistic.
So 17 games.
I don't think that's realistic, though. I'm going to say, like, what? I don't know. I'll come back to me. What do you think, Chris?
Anything less than 17 is a joke.
Yeah.
He should be out the whole season.
I agree.
That's what I've read a lot of.
Do you think it happens realistically? Do you think they sit him a whole season?
I mean, I'm looking.
I think
at,
based on number of accusations, I think it's the thing that's pushing me for the full season.
I think that it looks ugly.
Yeah.
It does not look good. Guilty or not.
Ben was one accusation, found not guilty, and he set 6 or 7. He set 6, I think. And they came out and said it was, look, we understand you weren't found guilty, but you have to hold yourself to a higher standard, yada, yada, yada. You're sitting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he was benched.
Look at the MLB with Trevor Bauer out two seasons.
I thought that was harsh, man. That was really.
So I think if you're the NFL, you got to take a look at that too and say, okay, well,
when that came out,
major sports.
Yeah. When that came out, though, me and Chris both kind of joke, though, like imagine if he was in the NFL because they don't do anything.
2 games.
They do nothing.
We both said that at the same time. Funny enough.
But to your point, I think anything under I mean, you had 22 women. It just, look, I get sometimes people accuse people of stuff because they hop on board. You know, maybe he did them wrong and something. And there was like, oh man, there's 15 women. I'm going to agree, whatever. 22 is a lot to say they all made that up.
And you only need one.
Even if half of them
you only need one.
I know, but I'm saying, even if only half of them aren't lying,
mm-hmm.
There's no way 22 women are all fucking lying and putting themselves out there to say that this man sexually assaulted them, verbally assaulted them, whatever it might be. They're all fucking lying.
Especially when so many of the reports match other ones too, as far as traits, what happened, you know, the direction that the conversation went in. Not all of them match. A lot of them do though.
Yeah. I just find it hard to believe. And to Dan's point, I think this stuff can't be okay. You know, I'm just so over the whole, like, oh, you're an athlete and you make us money. So yeah, we're going to write it off. It's no big deal.
Especially in the NFL.
They're notorious for it.
Yes.
They're notorious for it. Fucking beating your wives, beating your girlfriends, fucking killing people. Okay, cool. You did a couple games. You're back because we need you.
Mm-hmm.
Dan says 17. Chris?
That's your concrete number the whole season.
Yep.
But remember, it's a prediction. It's not what you want. It's a prediction.
I still think.
Okay. All right.
And like I said, anything less would be a joke. Okay. If they did that, but it is the NFL, so whatever.
Yeah.
My pick, I'm gonna side with a lot of the insiders that I've read, and it's that a lot of them have looked at Dan's case and they go, if they don't make an example of this kid for this cause, it's gonna come off bad for them. Anything less than a season looks bad on the NFL. It looks like they don't care about that cause whatsoever.
Yeah.
At the same time, I think the NFL, well, it's not the NFL leading the cause; it's the independent agency leading it. At the same time, though, you will alienate a whole franchise too. I know it sucks. I know it's not important to really say, but they're the ones that are investing the cash and all that. And if they raise a big stink about all of this, and you know, whether that leads to protesting, everything, whatever, puts a black stain on the NFL, it's tough, man. They're in a tight spot right now.
The only argument to that is the Browns went into it knowing.
Yeah.
They knew
the
possibility.
They knew. And they overspent because of that.
Yeah. So, I mean, you know what? Look, it sucks if you get fucked over.
Mm-hmm.
But you drafted the dude or traded for the dude regardless of knowing this shit wasn't settled and what the case was. So if you get fucked over for it, it's your own fault.
And Stefanski's own words was that, you know, we're going to figure out how long we've got him for, and then we're going to put him into the system.
Yeah.
Like, so he knows right away. He goes, we're going to be without him probably opening day. That's a guarantee.
Yeah.
My pick is 8. I think it's 8 games because I think it's somewhere in the middle there. I think it's somewhere where we satisfy the accusers, but I also think it's somewhere where, you know, we don't lose him despite.
I still don't.
I don't agree with it either, but it's not what I agree with. It's what I predict.
I think that, I want 17 and not as a Brown, not as a Steelers fan, as a set the right fucking precedent for this stuff, and that these people aren't above it just because of who they are.
And certainly wake people up.
But I think realistically 8, because I think a half season is probably what he will actually get.
Yeah.
If it was still fucking 16 games and not a random 17. So 8.5 games. I mean, 8's probably realistic. If he gets any less than 6, any less than 17 is a disgrace. If he gets any less than 6 though, fuck the NFL.
I'll be mad because Zeke got 6 and he was found innocent in a fucking federal court.
Right.
But yeah, I'll be really
That's
pissed.
what I'm saying. You got to think him and Ben were both like 6.
Yeah.
For 1.
And we had to talk it down to 5. We actually put the NFL, we protested it and we got it talked down to 5.
This is 22 women.
Yeah.
He's got to do a full season. He's got to. He's got to be out a full season. He rightfully should be out a full season.
I have no problem with that whatsoever.
No, I know. I'm just saying, like the NFL, like you can't. How do you justify not making him sit a season?
Mm-hmm.
The only thing that's going to happen, they're going to say he wasn't found guilty, so we can't make him sit a full season because of it.
What works in your and Dan's favor is that it's not the NFL making this decision,
right?
It's that independent agency. They hired these guys specifically for these cases because they go, we don't want there to feel like any biased or favoritism towards these athletes.
Yeah.
We're going outside of the box and they're going to come in and make decisions for us. That in itself is a very dangerous concept on a lot. If you find an athlete who has been found innocent, like it's been proven he's innocent and all that, and you still put his life in their hands, it can be very dangerous. But in this case, I feel like it's the right thing to do. And I feel like they might make an example out of this kid.
Yeah.
You guys, I'll rock with 8 though. I'm confident in that number. I'll stick with it. I won't be surprised though if it's more or less.
Fucking NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dude. It's just crazy how often this stuff just kind of gets thrown by the wayside, you know. It's just wild. But we keep supporting. We've talked about it. We keep supporting them though. We'll still watch.
Oh, my team's the worst team in the
fucking
NFL.
Well, I'm saying we watch criminals all the time on it. Yeah. Play sports. We don't turn it off.
I got an owner who's fucking knocking up young women and you know, running away from the paternity suits.
Yeah. Yeah. It's for our entertainment. It doesn't affect us. We talked about it. I don't remember who we were talking about it with, but unless it affects us directly, personally, you know, if we were one of those 22 women was someone we knew, it'd be a whole nother story, but we don't know them. So we're kind of like,
yeah,
it'll happen. We're going to go on. I mean, here's the thing. He might be out this whole season. I mean, he'll still be back next season. People are still going to watch him and buy his jersey.
Probably have more visits to the massage parlor.
Yeah, I mean,
that's off season, off time.
Did you hear that trip he took his lineman on? Like they're in the Bahamas right now, I believe. Yeah. So they're in the Bahamas right now. My buddy John posted it the other day, and I said, "No massages, okay? Bro. No massages."
That's where you go for a massage. Though.
Yeah,
fucking Bahamas, some kind of crazy resort like that. He bought them all massages. This fucking guy.
Now the whole team gets suspended for a whole.
Please. Put them out of their misery. I mean, you'd just be doing the fans a favor.
The thing is, even if it's my situation where it's 8 games, that's enough that they're going to miss the playoffs, dude. Like say you go best case scenario 3-6 in those games without Deshawn Watson. You have to win out at that point to go to the playoffs. Good luck.
Well, I mean, you gotta just, I mean, without Watson, they're just where they were last year for the most part. But you've got a quarterback who doesn't want to be there at the helm.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the shitty thing. I mean, you got Baker there, but we talked about this offline. He can't go in there and throw it. I mean, he can't go there and throw the games. He's got to show out. He's got, I mean, if he realistically wants to go anywhere, which I didn't realize at this point, he had no suitors. Yeah. You have to go in there and play well if you want to go to another team. So that's the only thing the Browns have going for them. What happens if he goes out and plays well, like real well? Does he stay on the Browns?
No.
I mean, can he go first string and Watson's a second, or is he out regard? Like he has to go.
It's the Nick Foles situation with Philly in 2017. So like they spent all that money on Carson Wentz to get him a big deal. He was their big draft quarterback. Wentz got injured right before the playoffs, and Nick Foles led them all the way to the Super Bowl, won it all. And the next year they fucking dropped him. They sold him to the Bears.
Wild.
So yeah, it's the same situation. If Baker Mayfield comes in and wins them a Super Bowl this year, they still let him go. They spent they spent way too much money on Deshaun Watson, and they have to abide by that now.
Why? Well, here's my thing. Why the risk? Why the risk for him?
For Deshaun?
Why the money and this shit that they're going through?
Here, I'm going to be Jesse. I'm going to be Jesse. He's the best quarterback in the NFL.
So was Baker at one time.
So the next quarterback that they draft that Jesse likes. I mean,
next week on Marvel Theater.
I just don't understand that ownership risk, man.
Yeah.
I mean, return on your investment. You spend all that money, guaranteed money.
Yeah. Well, the way they look at it, we all know Deshawn Watson's a better quarterback than Baker.
He's
Mayfield.
a good quarterback for sure.
And the only way, this is Seattle Mariner talking to you, the only way that a guy like Deshaun Watson comes to Cleveland is if you overspend for
Big
him.
money.
That's the only way. Even Deshaun Watson said he was heading toward New Orleans before the Browns called him back and said, we up the ante.
Yeah.
It's the only way you get a guy like that. They figure they've got the team to compete right now, the pieces around him, and they do. They have a lot of talent on that team.
For sure.
But
they've had a lot of talent on that team.
I agree. But now's the time to pull the trigger. Do it. Let's see what happens.
Bro.
And hopefully he gets the message across to everybody.
Yep. Browns 2023. See what happens then.
Catch the fever. No, really, catch the fever so you don't have to watch.
I can't say much. I don't know what's going to happen with our team. So
oh, it's going to be rough. I was talking to Ken about this the other day. He does not trust that Kenny Pickens guy or whatever from Pittsburgh.
No,
does not trust him.
I like him. I'm not mad about it. I like Pickett too. I think Pickett's got a
That's
good
what
shot.
I was talking about.
Well, there's Pickens and there's Pickett.
Oh,
one's the quarterback, one's the wide receiver.
The quarterback is.
Yeah, I'm talking about the receiver. The receiver, I think he's got great potential. I'm not mad about that. The quarterback, Pickens. Pickett is the quarterback. Pickens is the wide receiver.
Jesus,
I don't know.
Got Claypool. That's my boy from Notre Dame.
I'm not upset. We have to see what happens. You know, we'll see.
I don't think he's going to be the starter.
I don't think he's starting either.
I think they need to.
He'll be number 2.
They need to count Trubisky as that number 1.
Yeah, I agree.
You have to. He's the veteran.
Yeah.
Get him in there to start. Let Pickett ride the pine for a little bit, ride the bench for a little bit, and observe and learn.
By the end of the season, does Pickett start?
End of this season, I could see him
up to
starting next
Trubisky.
season. I could. I mean, if Trubisky doesn't perform, okay, but I could see him starting next season.
But Rudolph's got to be gone.
Why is he still on the team? Why is he still a part of the team? He's awful.
He's the longest active Pittsburgh Steelers quarterback on that team.
He's awful. Yeah. Can we get Baker? Why can't we get Baker? I want to take Baker.
The Brown. Here's the thing. You can get him in free agency. That was possible before you got Trubisky and Pickett. You're not going to get him now, but
no.
But like the Browns would have never given up Baker Mayfield to Pittsburgh. If they paid them $40 million, they would have never fucking given it to him.
They just whatever. Fuckers.
What I see, Seahawks, like did they?
The Seahawks got they drafted a quarterback and then they picked up someone else. But Seattle is still the front runner
for Baker
to land him. And they said Carolina's still in the running too, though.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Carolina would be nice. I mean, if I'm Baker, I'd go to Carolina all day.
It's a weak system out there, and like he could dominate out there.
Get that fuck out of Ohio too, man.
Yeah.
I mean, he's from Texas.
Yeah.
Ohio sucks. Get the fuck out of here. Go somewhere warm.
They got cheesecake factories here.
They do. In big parking lots that are empty because no one fucking goes there.
He doesn't go to the parking lots. He's out back.
Oh, that's true. I guess that leaves us with nothing else in sports. I mean, baseball's going on.
The Reds won a game without getting a hit.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
And then they beat the Guardians the night after.
Wow, the fucking Guardian. I did watch some of the women's softball. That was fun. I like watching that. The women's softball started college softball, like World Series.
Is that the World Series? Yeah.
I always like watching that every year. It's actually pretty interesting to see just the different dynamic. Bro. Yeah, there's softball.
Bullshit.
Some, not all.
Jenny Finch was a fucking
there's some babes. I'm not gonna lie, but I
like the athleticism of it. I like.
Have you ever watched it?
The competition is great,
bro.
I mean, these girls can really compete out there.
There was one you would have loved. Oh, God. There's one you would have loved, bro.
What does that mean?
You can read between the lines. No, I was always like, this is so lame. I would never watch it, and then I watched it last year. Me and Ashley watched it at Jersey's one day randomly. And I'm like, this is actually pretty exciting to watch. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
I still don't know how they control it like that. Like I've tried to throw a ball like that before. I can't do it.
These crazy windups and shit that they do. I don't know. It's pretty cool.
You have to release by the time it gets like right here. Like
to release it perfect.
Yeah.
I mean, because you're so like down to the ground.
Yeah.
Baseball with the these terrible strike zones that are going on. Like there's like a thing out that a report that is grading these
Awful
umps that on their missed calls, the effect that missed call had on the game, all that stuff. There's like there's some I gotta look it up more.
It's so inconsistent. Like if you're a fatter player, you have a wider
terrible.
strike zone.
Well, they do it's like an estimated umpire strike zone, like just based on the player, and so many missed calls. And there's strikes being called that are a foot out of the strike zone.
Yeah.
It's a joke.
It's different for every player. That's why I said like
it is a freaking joke.
A taller player has a wider reach, so that it's a wider strike zone.
That's prejudice.
I agree. I said wider.
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 Not whiter.
Did you see the dude at the I think it was the Red Sox game who caught 2 home runs in an inning? A fan. A fan.
Holy shit.
Hit, bounced off the second level, caught it. Then the very 2 batters later or whatever, hit right to him.
Wow.
Caught it. First person I think they said that's the first fan that has caught 2 in 1 inning.
And the Red Sox too, like playing terrible right now, but like pack the house every single game.
Yeah.
All right. I like their Mother's Day jerseys. You guys never commented. I wrote you guys.
Yeah, pink and blue.
Dude, they were dope. Everyone wore like different uniforms for Mother's Day.
I don't recall that.
And the White Sox had on these dope iridescent, like color changing, like a light blue and pink. They were dope. They were super dope.
I don't recall that.
That's all right. You all said fuck you. It's all right.
You and Chris send 70 fucking messages back and forth. I don't see everything.
75 messages.
You got to make sure you message between the hours of 3 p.m. and
then we're
2 a.m.
You picked up what I was throwing there. I like it.
Yeah. And then we're recording and he sends us TikToks.
Yeah, this fucking guy.
It's like, bro,
literally
catch some Pokemon.
His hours of messaging is like 7 p.m. to 2 a.m. That's your window of opportunity with Jesse.
I wake up and there's 3 things already. I'm like, what the fuck's
TikToks,
going on,
bro? I'm like, do you sleep? I mean, I'm up late. I'm a night owl. This dude sends TikToks at like 3:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck are you doing, bro?
Yeah.
Dude,
I don't want you TikToks after you just got done beating your meat. Okay, like save that for later. Sports is done.
Sports, that's it.
Hollywood it is.
The main event.
The main event.
Oh my God.
My God! Okay, it's happening. Everybody stay calm. Procedure, everyone. What's the procedure? God! Wait. Everybody, calm down. Two, Steve, assemble!
Been a long time, kids, but we're back.
We're back, baby. We
Hollywood.
back. We're going to talk about a lot of stuff here tonight, but first of all, I want to kick it off with music. The Rock Hall induction class of 2022 got announced last week, and it's an interesting class for sure. It brings up a conversation piece that I wanted to get to. I'm going to name off the nominees first, and then we'll transition to that. Leading the class this year is Pat Benatar, Duran Duran, Eminem, the Eurythmics, Dolly Parton, Lionel Richie, Carly Simon, Larry Belfontaine, Elizabeth Cotton, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, Judas Priest, Alan Grubman, Jimmy Iovine, which is Eminem's producer, and Sylvia Robinson.
Does Dolly Parton and her boobs get a nomination?
Yes.
Okay.
No, they're separate.
They each got their own.
Yeah.
Oh, that's nice.
Her boobs got voted in 24 years ago. She's just now getting nominated.
Oh, that makes sense. Pat Benatar is playing at the Goodyear Theater here pretty soon.
I saw that when I went to go when I saw Lewis Black there that they were advertising.
Nice.
Yeah. So anyway, the big talk with this class is kind of centers around Dolly Parton, amazingly enough, who didn't want to accept the nomination because she doesn't consider herself rock and roll. Now, here's the question that I have for you and Dan. It's obviously called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. To me, I want to know
Music Hall of Fame.
What and you've already taken my answer. What
Damn you, Ryan.
What to you does rock and roll mean? Is it an enveloping of every genre that there is, or is it specifically just rock and roll? Is it rock music?
I think it should just be rock and roll music.
Okay.
It's the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's
Otherwise,
rock and roll music. At this point, like everything fucking else, we have to be inclusive to everyone.
Do they have Country Music Hall of Fame? Is that a thing?
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Nashville.
Are you gonna put
Eminem there?
DMX in there?
You ain't having Eminem in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
No. But here's what when I think
Just
rock
make
and
it
roll,
the Music Hall of Fame.
And that's the thing. It should be called the Music Hall of Fame. I don't think they're allowed to do that legally though, because of you have the Country Hall of Fame. Country is part of music as it is. So it's kind of, unfortunately, so it's stepping on their feet. So I think they have to go with the rock and roll.
Stepping on their boots, Chris.
And rock and roll is the popular word anyway. It's the cool phrase, the swagger phrase, if you will. So they want to use rock and roll. To me, I don't have a problem with Dolly Parton going in artists like that, because when I see the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it's not just for rock music, obviously. If there was bands like Soundgarden, Linkin Park, all these other bands that have already passed the 20-year bar would be in right now. But it's not. You go there and you see statues of Pink. You see statues Whitney Houston. You see all kinds of different things there. It's enveloping of the whole spectrum of music. So in that case, I have no problem with Dolly Parton and you know, some of these others like Lionel Richie going in.
Yeah, it makes sense. However, the name just when you ask us in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, should a Dolly Parton be inducted? Because of the whole, it makes sense. But if you were to stick it like if it's a Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, it should be rock and roll music.
Yeah.
You have a Country Music Hall of Fame, it should be country music artists going in there. Rap Hall of Fame, I don't know.
But what is rock and roll music? Rock and roll music started as blues music.
It did.
When I think of rock,
But
I mean, I think
again,
most
changes with
people-
the times.
Yeah, I think when most people think rock and roll, you're thinking Metallica, you're thinking a Linkin Park, a Limp
I like way
Bizkit,
too
like
close to this
I don't
mic.
know, like that
I call Metallica metal.
rock and that doesn't fall under the genre of rock and roll though.
But as I said, rock and roll is everything.
But it's not rap.
But Elvis Presley was considered the greatest rock star of all time. He's not rock and roll.
Yeah, I don't know. But
Don't ask us these questions then, Chris.
No,
Josh.
it's a talking point. Though.
I don't
No, I
care
know.
about her getting it though. Regardless,
Yeah, I don't
really
either.
care.
Yeah.
But I think the name as a whole is because again, there's to Dan's point. There's a country music there's a country music
National.
Hall of Fame.
Yep.
You're not going to have Garth. I mean, is Garth Brooks going to go into the Rock Hall of Fame?
He should already be in there, I would think.
Okay, but then but to that point, so are we just? I guess do they classify rock and roll as just music? I mean, what
Yeah.
is their as music as a whole?
I think so.
Is that just the understanding that rock and roll is just the Music Hall of Fame?
I
It's
think
not technically called that, really.
Because a lot of people credit rock and roll as like the start or the pioneer of music, if you will. Like
Yeah.
that was the age where it really took off. So like to me, I think legality is they cannot call themselves the Music Hall of
I
Fame.
understand.
You just can't do it. So like you call yourself the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's like, well, people attribute rock and roll to so many things. Like a band like Linkin Park is kind of like at times in their life they were rap. At times in their career they kind of bordered on metal here and there. They did alternative.
Here's the definition of rock and roll.
Let's hear it.
Rock and roll is a popular music genre that combines elements of rhythm and blues, R&B, jazz, and country music with the addition of electric instruments.
That's an awesome definition.
That's it.
That's
Okay,
that's an
yeah.
awesome. Thank you for pulling that. That is a spectacular definition.
So I mean, by that point, yeah, absolutely, all those people belong in there.
So what's the limit then? So you said rhythm and blues, you said country, and you said
So rhythm and blues, jazz,
jazz.
country music with the addition of electrical instruments or electric instruments.
Eminem's rap though.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, yeah, I don't think anybody would call Eminem an R&B singer.
Mm.
No.
Like Montel Jordan, sure, you know, Keith Sweat, absolutely, but
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't have a problem having those different artists being inducted, especially after watching that induction last year.
yeah.
I searched on Google I just searched rock and roll music and then scroll down to find a definition. And then, sometimes it says like more results for other things you could search for.
Mhm.
One of them is rock and roll black music.
Jesus.
Dang, Google.
What?
God.
Rock and roll is usually explained as rhythm and blues music. That is music performed by black artists for black listeners, repurposed by mostly white artists for a mostly white audience.
Wow.
That's
who
from
wrote
the
that?
NewYorker.com, by the way.
Wow.
But anyways, to your point, Dolly Parton didn't want to be in, and they denied. I mean, does she have the right to say I don't want to be in there? And they denied her request to not be in there.
I mean,
Can you do that?
It's their hall. She can not show up.
But I mean, she says I don't want my name to be there.
Yeah.
Doesn't she have the right to say that
It's their Hall of Fame. They can put in whoever they want.
against your will?
Yeah.
No fucking respect.
Yeah, they value her music as part of rock and roll, so they want her to be recognized.
It's just surprising to me that she doesn't have any right over the ownership of her likeness and name to say, I don't want to be associated with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I don't want to be a part of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
You can put anybody in a museum. It's not like taking ownership of her music. It's just
I'm just surprised by that.
We want to acknowledge you.
What if the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame was known for being racist and rapists and stuff, and she didn't want her brand associated with that? They can still do. I mean, that's just weird.
There's a lot of them in there. Chuck Berry's in there, so.
But it's just weird that you relinquish ownership. Like she doesn't have the right just to say, I don't want my name or my music to be in there, and they're just like, fuck you.
Nat King Cole's in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah,
he liked to piss on women.
Do them or their families get any benefit from being there?
So does Lil Wayne. So
he'll have his day. I'm not sure about that. I don't know how that goes.
Yeah.
I know it's a big ceremony, though. Obviously, they'll have her family there. They might even induct her. She'll pick someone to induct her. But I don't know. I don't know how that goes.
Interesting. Yeah, it's just weird. I don't really care. I have no issue with anyone they want to put in there. I feel like it's just at this point become a celebration of music.
Yeah.
It's just, I think it confuses people just by the name.
Yeah.
You don't associate a lot of those musicians as rock and roll.
No, this year's class deviates a lot from rock music. Yeah, for sure.
A lot of the rhythm and blues more and
pop.
Yeah.
When you play a rock and roll playlist on,
you don't hear Lionel Richie.
Amazon Prime, Dolly Parton's never on there.
No.
Eminem's not on there.
Yeah. It's interesting.
It's just terminology, but I think if you called it the Rock Hall of Fame, it would be a lot different.
Yeah, it'd be a lot of Dwayne Johnson.
And that guy loves camera time.
Yes, he does.
He's second only to Chris Pratt in that category. So, but anyway, we're going to transition
a Chris Pratt Hall of Fame.
You know what?
For all 500 of his movies.
I'm about to sidetrack here.
Oh God, shut up.
We love sidetracks.
Chris Pratt said that there is a second version of his character in James Gunn's. It's like the multiverse.
Another
it's another Chris Pratt.
Oh God. We need
to know that
Chris's day is coming.
Did you know that?
We need a black schoolgirl. Chris Pratt will do it.
He plays the alternate Star-Lord.
Of course he does.
That's what he said.
It's something I read.
Probably gets paid twice as much too.
Probably does.
I mean, rightfully so. When you're that caliber,
I know, so talented to play two at once.
We get two Gamoras.
She died.
She's back. Oh, come on. She's back.
She died.
She's back.
How?
She's back at the end of that fucking movie.
But how?
She's a different. What was it like? Her? Oh, I can't even remember.
You snap the finger, and all those people that were there, like they're gone.
Yeah,
she goes with it.
Trust me, I don't.
She's not back. She can't be. If they bring her back, I discredit the whole series.
I have problems with the Marvel verse already as it is. This will take an hour. But yeah, thank you for that, Dan. I have plenty to look forward to. I'm looking forward to this third Guardians movie because it is my favorite of the
Guardians is so good.
The whole MCU. The first movie is the best, but like, I don't need to know there's two fucking Chris Pratts. And he's probably gonna fucking play Drax too because this is Drax's final movie.
Yeah, he might.
All right, moving on.
And Rocket.
Since Dan brought up movies, we're going to talk about movies. Obviously, the Johnny Depp trial is still going on right now. We have 2 more weeks left. They're estimating right around Memorial Day is when we'll get a verdict.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys want to talk about that real quick. This transitions into something else.
You know what I've really been wanting to do, and I just haven't found the time.
Sleep with Camille Vasquez.
Ooh. Well, she's been killing it. She's been killing the game.
Oh, I would let her tear me apart in court.
I've been really wanting to find the time to do an illustration because I haven't drawn anything in a while, and it to be the bed shit, but it to be from, to be from the Dane Cook line. There's a smell of shit on or around the coats.
The coats.
Yeah, but I want to do one that says there's a smell of shit on or around the bed area that leads me to believe that someone has shit in the bed.
Someone
and
shit
do
on the
something
sheets
with that, but I haven't found the time to do it.
Oh my God. Make
Um,
an Amber Heard one. That shit will sell
Did you
out.
see that she said it was because their dog ate weed?
Yeah.
It was the dog.
So the turds are bigger than the dogs are. They're Yorkies.
Yorkshire Terriers. Or
Yeah.
something.
Toy Yorkies.
Yeah.
The toy Yorkies.
But the dog got high and shit the bed.
Yeah.
Get the fuck out of here.
She's so ridiculous, dude. That whole, I'll tell you what, the last 2 days where she got cross-examined by
Oh my
Camille,
God.
the greatest thing I've ever watched. Like
I haven't seen it at all. I see everyone posting about it, and I was like, who's Camille? And I had to look it up.
15 and a half hours she deposed this woman. She tore her apart for 2 days. When it ended yesterday, like midway through the day. I was like, no, Camille, get back here. Come back.
Just the questions she was asking or what?
Oh, she was, dude.
Yeah.
So like,
I gotta watch it.
That's great.
I'm not going to reveal too much then, but so Camille gets done with her cross-examination and she sits back down. Amber's lawyer comes back up to cross-examine to like respond to that.
Call him a lawyer.
Every single one that this woman called, every question that she asked Amber, Camille's like, objection, hearsay, objection, this, objection, that, objection, objection. Like it was everything. It got to the point where they approached the judge and the judge had to warn Amber's lawyer, like, seriously, you're leading this witness on. If you do this, if you keep doing this, I'll have to bar you from court. And she's telling her. And then the last one where she objects, she goes, what's the word she goes? She goes, objection, hearsay, ignoramus, or something like that. She says something like that. And I was like, damn, girl. Jesus.
The thing that
And they were all sustained. All the
Oh,
objections.
yeah. She won every single fucking one of them, dude.
The thing I found the most interesting is that you're Amber Heard.
Yeah.
Like you're a billionaire. This is the best you could find for like your lawyer, your defense, whatever, your defense attorney. Is she the defendant? I don't fucking know.
She's a defendant because
like,
Johnny's suing her.
He's awful. I mean, this dude is awful.
So is she.
You're talking her lawyer?
Her lawyer.
She's got two. She's got
two.
the woman
guy
who's Marcy.
The
the guy's Rottenborn.
Yeah, he's terrible.
Yeah.
So is she. She's awful too. They're both bad.
The lawyer or
the
Amber?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, Amber too.
The woman's dumb, man. She's fucking stupid.
I just don't
And you
understand
can
how
tell.
you get that bad of
This is was it rotten popcorn?
Rottenborn is the
Rotten
It's like
popcorn?
Rotten popcorn.
And I'll tell you this, like, as evil as I feel Amber truly is, like, she's smart though. She understands that, like, each one of these sides have so long. I think it's like 16 hours to depose these people when they do it. So if she draws out these answers and she keeps slipping in answers here, so she gets objected to every time, but then she'll still continue on with it. She
She's
goes,
wasting time.
and then I was at his house and then I did this about so the jury will pick up on it and they'll read it and they'll go, oh,
How do you notice every time she answers a question, she looks at that jury?
yeah. Well, she wants to seem personable. She wants to come across like I was just a
Where
battered
everybody
widow.
else, they're talking to the person
she's trying to
asking
get
the
a
question.
reaction.
She's every single time.
Yeah.
But
I can't believe how long this has been going on though. Like how long was this? No one was murdered.
There was a
Like,
week
how long
off.
does
They had a
this
week
case
off.
take
Didn't
to
they?
go?
The week I was on vacation, they were off, which I was pissed.
What is it? You take a week off from court?
Yeah, because the judge had to go out of town. So, and they have to keep the same judge. It's just the way it is. But yesterday was the best. At the end of Camille's deposition, when she cross-examines, Amber's female lawyer comes up there again. You know, she gets blocked out of every question and all that. And then the lawyer looks up to the sky and she goes, I'm trying. And like that was her last word. She goes, I have no more questions, Your Honor. And she steps down. Amber's pissed. She gets off the stand. They see her. You hear the judge go sit over by your lawyer now. She's walking out of the fucking courtroom, dude. She's leaving the courtroom
because
she's pissed at her team.
They're awful.
And she laid them out to dry too during the deposition. She said, well, there were certain pictures that I wanted to put into evidence, but my legal team wouldn't let me do it. So and she also accused them of perjury, putting their pictures, selling her pictures to People magazine. She's laying her team out to dry, dude. This fucking crazy. So she leaves the courtroom. The judge says, we'll just use that as our 3 o'clock break. Then we'll take that. We'll be back in 15 minutes. You see her leave the courtroom and she goes, that's all you hear. I read those fucking lips. I know those lips anywhere, bitch. And they said her and Marcy, her female lawyer, got into a fight when they were during that 15-minute break. Nobody wants to help this woman anymore.
I gotta watch that,
dude. Yeah, I'll send you the clip where it's at.
Yes.
I know I have it pinmarked exactly where I wanted to watch this over and over again. She was
because they're hours long, aren't they? I can't sit there for that.
It's 8 hours every day. And when it's Amber on the stage, I only pick and choose who I want. But like Amber's, I wanted to watch the whole thing. I want to see every minute of this girl.
I've seen clips and parts and pieces of like when Camille was drilling her and she kept talking about the $7 million as of today.
Yeah.
You still have not paid.
She doesn't know the difference between pledge and give.
No, I pledged.
Pledge is not giving.
I pledged $3.5 million.
Yeah, but you had 13 months to do this.
No, Miss Heard. No.
Yeah.
My words. My question.
Yeah. And the question that I love that she gave her,
joke, man,
right out of nowhere. They take the first break of the morning, which is 10 o'clock in the morning. They take the break. They come back. The first question Camille asks her right off the bat, she goes, "So Johnny got you the Aquaman role, right?" And she goes, "Excuse me?" She goes, "Johnny got you the role in Aquaman, correct?" She goes, "No, that is incorrect. Johnny did not get me anything. I get my own movie roles. Thank you very much, Miss Vasquez." And she goes, "Oh, well, it doesn't look that way to me." So she's just laying this woman out. I'm like, I want to watch this on pay-per-view. I will pay $100, watch all my friends come over, and we just fucking root this woman on.
So funny.
I here's the thing. I don't have a side in this argument. A lot of people say Johnny Depp is overly innocent. I don't feel that way. I think they're both fucked up.
I agree.
But I am a Camille Vasquez fan until the day I die.
I think they're both guilty and they both had their day in court. She won her case. He'll win his case and they'll move on.
Yep.
But I think they both were a part of
their destruction of their careers.
They're both guilty.
Yeah. I agree.
She's a mess, though.
So we were here to talk about something originally. So obviously, Johnny, arguably his biggest franchise is the Pirates of the Caribbean movies.
Yeah.
We all feel, positive, negative about it.
I liked the first three.
First three.
15 now.
Yeah, there were 5 of them. I thought the last 2 were,
Oh God, I really thought there was more than 5.
There was 5. Yeah. The 5th one's terrible.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Johnny Depp, the conversation is still if they're going to replace him, because of all the bad publicity and everything going on.
He hasn't been replaced yet. He hasn't been
not officially, but they are talking about it right now. And do you know who the lead person is to replace him? No,
he'd be perfect.
First of all, it's not the same role as Jack Sparrow. It's a new protagonist.
Oh, so not replacing Johnny Depp. They're writing his character off. Is it someone we would ever guess?
Daniel Craig.
No.
What's something they've been in recently? Leonardo DiCaprio.
No.
Tom Holland.
No.
Margot Robbie.
You fucking got it.
Nuh-uh.
Yeah.
Shut the fuck up.
I swear on my mom's life. Margot Robbie is slated to be the protagonist of the Pirates of the Caribbean 6.
Sign me the fuck up.
And so this is where I was going with this. Now, so many people are pissed that Johnny Depp is being replaced, but if you get that Margot Robbie fan in there, now it's like, fuck Johnny Depp.
I'll plunder her treasure.
Johnny who?
Bro.
Exactly it.
Johnny who?
Now all of a sudden it's, I'm okay with that though.
Bro, for real?
Yeah, I swear to God, look it up.
Sign me up. If they do her up like they did Keira Knightley in their fucking little corset outfits.
Keira was gorgeous in those movies. Elizabeth Swann.
Bro, Margot Robbie would be legit.
Yeah. Early stages of discussions right now. Margot has not officially signed on, but they said that is the name they're going for.
She better sign on.
Make that happen.
Would she want to attach herself to this franchise?
Why not?
I mean, getting the negative light of fans going, no, I'll only watch it if Johnny's in it.
No, not when you sign her name to it.
Well, that's for you though.
And every other male.
I mean, I think this movie's going to catch some backlash. I really do.
That's fine. I'm still going.
You're still going to beat it in the theater like Pee Wee Herman.
God, they just need to add her. Then they just need to add her to the ride next.
No, God. Come sit on Margot's lap. And
what do you think they're going to do about that?
You think they remove him?
I don't think they do.
It's hard. It's difficult now because he's probably going to win this case. It's pretty obvious. But
he's going to win.
But the thing is that the name has still been stained. They've still played video of him coming off as this fucking like at times belligerent, even abusive. Like he has, while he's not physically abusive, he's very mentally abusive. And like the text he sent Amber, no guy should fucking be doing.
I mean, I guess if Disney,
text, it depends on how you take it. That's why you can't really.
Yeah.
I will laugh when you're dead and I will piss on your grave.
That was pretty wild.
How do you take that?
What other context do you read that?
But he
But he said it in his
talking
pirate
about
voice. He was just joking.
Right. I mean, I could have taken it as a joke. Ha ha ha! Funny,
if
Johnny.
your sister dies of a heroin overdose, nature has run its course.
I mean,
Do you think? I mean, jokes aside, do you think that? So the Pirates ride at Disney has like
7 of them.
Johnny Depp animatronics.
Really?
Do you think they remove them and just put like a different pirate character? Because they weren't always Johnny Depp.
They have to change. They have to change the whole audio too of it. They gotta change a lot.
Because before they made those, when did the first one come out? Do you know?
God. 01,
Okay.
02?
Either way, the ride's been around way longer. They based the movie off the ride.
Mm-hmm.
So before it was just like a regular pirate character.
Yeah, no dominant.
Did they go back? I wonder if they go back to those if they take him out. Because I mean, the one at the very end, they all look like him,
mm-hmm.
but there's one at the very end where you pause while you're waiting to get off the ride, and it's him like slouched back in his chair, and it's
sloshing.
It's Johnny Depp, and then he talks to you and he's singing. So like,
yo ho,
yeah, I wonder what they do.
I think if the 6th movie does well, like really well, I could see them taking him out of that and just putting Margot Robbie in the ride.
Ryan's jumping. I might jump out of the ride.
Ryan's fucking moving to Disney.
I can't believe that's who it is. I was just wow.
Okay. I that's why I looked at you and I go, yeah, you'll probably get it.
Wow.
But yeah, that right now just talking stages, but they are moving forward on a Pirates 6 though, for sure. So speaking of franchises,
what if they're going to go to the outer space?
all franchises do, including my boy Jason.
Bro, I finally just watched that Fast and the Furious where they go to space the other day. What the fuck, bro?
The fucking movie is so bad.
Question before we change off Johnny Depp subject. Who do you think, or do you think there's going to be willingness for someone to sign them to a movie next? Like what company or who takes on that role to sign Amber Heard or
Nobody.
Johnny Depp?
Nobody.
You think they're done?
Small independent studios will probably sign Amber because they can make a killing off of her likeness.
Mm-hmm.
But
you think like Johnny Depp's done, like from roles?
I think from kid studios like Disney and stuff like that, yeah, they have to watch what they're doing. I think though, if you get like another, Tim Burton will work with him in a second. Yeah. If you get another movie like a Black Mass that's a hard R movie, they'll take Johnny and they'll use his talents toward that.
Okay.
Yeah, I think honestly, I definitely can't see them. The thing is, he's done a lot of abusive shit, and he's an alcoholic. He needs to quit alcohol for good. He definitely shouldn't be drinking.
Mm-hmm.
But there's nothing he's done that I think is irredeemable.
Right.
There's a lot that she's done that is very irredeemable.
Like shit in the bed. Shit the bed.
The Yorkie Terriers.
She shit in the bed, man. That's so embarrassing. The only thing I feel bad about them for
she pledged $7 million to charity and she never paid them. And then Elon Musk,
but she pledged it. So I mean,
donates in her name or in her honor.
Yikes.
Man, I had a similar situation with an ex, not quite shitting in the bed, but something nasty.
If I had an ex shit in the bed, bro, I mean, we're ex obviously for a reason, but good Lord, that's fucked up.
Yeah.
Okay. Anyways,
speaking of franchises, moving on, we got Hunger Games news this week. A prequel has been greenlit by Universal Studios, and the synopsis for the Hunger Games: The Ballad of the Songbirds and Snakes previews the rise of the young Cornelius Snow amid the 10th annual Hunger Games.
Cool.
So basically, right now they're looking to recast the Donald Sutherland role, because if it's a prequel, he's obviously not going to play it.
Right.
Anybody that you guys thinking of that you would like in that role of a young Aldous Snow?
Jeez. I mean, you got to think that's a long ways. I mean, they didn't even go a little early.
Mm-hmm.
When the ones we were watching was the 75th.
Yes. So 65 years. You're talking young adult, late teenager.
Yeah. They're saying the 10th.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, you're talking a real young. I mean, yeah. Who do you cast at
I
that
got
age?
an idea.
Got another Sprite in there. Fucking feed it to this guy over here.
A young Chris Pratt. I don't know, just because of the age. I mean, you got to think it's got to be like a young. I mean, yeah, you could do a Tom Holland.
Pattinson.
He's too old.
He is a little old now.
I mean, because it's got to be. I mean, it was the 75th Hunger Games. How old was Snow supposed to be? 75? So he's 10 in this movie?
Eddie Redmayne?
Or, I mean, unless they, know the story that well if they do more than 100 games a year, but it's not supposed to be.
Mm-hmm. And this one's obviously not based on a book, so they don't have the literature to kind of fall back on for the story.
Yeah.
So literally anything can go in this book.
Interesting. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm cool with it though. I think it would be interesting to see kind of like the leading up. I mean, they talk about it in the movies, why they have the Hunger Games and stuff, but it would be interesting to see, you know, the early on start of it and stuff.
I want to see the first one. I want to see like
that's
first
my
Hunger
thing.
Games.
I wish it was pre-Hunger Games.
Yeah.
When you said it was a prequel, I was thinking it was
how it led up to.
Yeah, before the Hunger Games even started, which would have been awesome.
Maybe
already 10 years in. I mean,
how much changes there by that point? That's the thing. How do you take society from like what we're used to like, well, we're going to start letting kids kill each other and do this.
What a fucked up concept.
Yeah. But man, the first two movies though, really good.
Real good movies.
Third, I didn't care much for.
It wasn't as good, but yeah, those first two.
Yeah.
I still watch them. Yeah. I still watch them over and over again.
Catching Fire is like a great movie.
J-Law, man. Woo, boy.
Yeah.
But yeah, age-wise, I don't know. I mean, it's got to be a young person in that movie.
Yeah.
For the age to make sense. I mean, if they cast someone that's like 20, Snow ain't 95.
Yeah, and I'm thinking about Sutherland's like facial. Like, there's not a lot of young actors that look like him. You know, you'd have to believe that it's a young guy in that role. I hate when they cast someone that looks nothing like.
Right.
Yeah, I guess we'll see though. But this one is slated to be out in late 2023, so they're going to start shooting soon. They got to get the cast together, obviously, and probably shoot by fall, I'm estimating.
Nice.
Yeah. We're going to go unorthodox on this next one. We usually save the weekend box office for last, but I want to do it now. Because we have something I feel is more important to talk about last. So we've been off for a few weeks. A lot has been shaken up with this top five. You know, when we left off, we kind of saw that The Bad Guys was coming up. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was dominating around that time. But we have two newbies to the countdown, one from last week and one from this week. At number 5 this week, I'm pleased to say that this one is still holding on and kicking ass. The Little Engine That Could, Everything Everywhere All at Once. My favorite movie of the year. Another $3.3 million, making its gross take $47 million in 7 weeks.
Wow.
So yeah, an independent film, an A24 film that is doing this well. I think a lot of it is word of mouth for sure. You know, you have a lot of critics out there that are praising this as one of, if not the best film of the year. A film that has been said to do better things with the universes, or the, you know, different universes than even Marvel movies can do and can conjure up. I would attest to that. I would say this movie does things that Doctor Strange and the Spider-Man movie couldn't even dream of. The visuals, the contrast, everything is gorgeous. I couldn't recommend this film more to any audience. I feel like it's an important one that everybody should see, and it's a feel-good film in a time when we really need that.
Yeah. That's one I definitely want to check out. Once it comes to streaming, I would love to see that.
Yeah.
I still got to see Strange and Fantastic Beasts. So
yeah. Beast is still, let me see where, okay. Beast fell to 6, so it's just out of the top 5, but it's still doing all right. $2.5 more million, making its take $90 million. Yeah. So it's doing solid. It had a pretty good take for a pandemic time.
It's pretty short for that series though. I mean, for a Harry Potter
type pandemic.
No, I know. I'm just saying that came out how long ago?
6 weeks.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I didn't realize it's been that. Damn. Is it gonna be in theater anymore?
Yeah. It's
been that long.
Yeah, it's number 6, so it's still up there.
You didn't see Spider-Man in the theater, so
you did finally see it though, didn't you?
I did see it.
Yeah,
I made him. He fell asleep.
He didn't like the sound of the trigger going.
There was a lot going on.
Yeah, it is a lot.
It was a lot happening.
The Aunt May scene was coming up, and I'm
the dining room.
Yeah, no, not the dining room.
The dining room.
No, I was Aunt May. Isn't that when the crossover happens? I don't know. I've fucking seen this movie in 8 weeks now.
It's been a long time.
When Aunt
May dies.
And he's over there.
After Osborn kind of turns and all that. Yeah.
It wasn't my favorite Marvel movie.
I heard him snoring over there. I'm like, hey, Ryan, you got to wake up. Then he wakes up and sees her die, and he's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think I was sleeping. I wake up to that. I was like, what? Oh my, what the fuck just happened right now?
No.
You watch it on your sexy TV.
It's sad.
Yeah, I had the lights going, the backlights.
Nice.
Volume turned up, and he's still. I was tired.
Where would you put it? Is it a top 2 Marvel movie of all time?
Mm-hmm.
No, top 3.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Shang-Chi. Yeah. Top 4.
Mm-hmm. Probably maybe top 5. I didn't not like it. I don't want to take us too far off topic. There was just a lot. I felt similar about this that I did Batman.
Convoluted.
There was so much going on. There were so many characters and so much storyline happening all at once. It was just like
Ryan doesn't like 3-hour movies.
it was long.
I think that's a fair critique in both movies, and I loved both films. I think it's a fair critique, though. There is a lot going on. Batman, it helps flesh out the environment of Gotham for sure.
Mm-hmm.
And Spider-Verse, it's a very ambitious film. It's dealing with different universes and all that. So, like, I understand why it's there, but I can't hate you for that critique.
Yeah, it was cool. I mean, I did like the bringing in of the other two. Like, I liked the throwback of seeing the older characters that we grew up watching. I thought that was very cool. Yeah, but it was just a lot. I'd say I don't even know if it'd be top 5 for me. But
one critique I have is the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, because they say they pulled him right out as the villain was going to die, right then and there. So why the heck is Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man so old?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well,
he should still be a younger Peter Parker.
You could tell they tried to young him up too, and it just didn't. He definitely looked
still
older.
looked
like 40 plus.
Yes.
Yeah. I wish they would have just said he's old Peter Parker, because honestly, that's a unique angle. I always like the weathered Batman. Do the weathered Spider-Man. Why not? This is the Peter Parker who is at the end of his days. He realizes that his gravity's catching up to him.
Yeah.
Why not?
But they played that card that they were all pulled out of their universe right before the villain was gonna.
And that creates a lot of logic problems, not just there, but other scenes too.
Yeah.
I agree.
So that's my critique of it. My major issue I had.
Well, why does Willem Dafoe look like he's fucking 40 years older too?
Bro.
Yeah.
He should be the same age. He should be 2002 Willem Dafoe. Anyway, I digress. Number 4 this week, kicking it off. Its first week on the countdown, $3.8 million. That awful fucking Firestarter.
Oh God.
Another horrible Stephen King adaptation. I gave this movie a 3 out of 10. And I think even then I was being a little gentle on it. It does do some things right. Obviously, it has John Carpenter and Cody Carpenter, father and son team, scoring the music of the film. And there's a couple of decent special effects in it, but I feel like it added nothing to the story of an already mediocre 80s film. And there was so much possibility here, especially with Zac Efron, to divert and make the role his own. In recent years, Zac Efron did that. What was it? Wickedly Evil. That fucking long ass title, that Netflix movie where he played the serial killer.
Oh yeah.
Shockingly Evil. Ted Bundy.
The Ted Bundy movie.
Yeah,
that was good.
So, and he did good in that. Like, the movie around him wasn't great, but it was his role that pretty much dominated that film. In this one, I felt like he was asleep at the wheel, man. I feel like the emotionality of the character was very monotonous, and I felt like he didn't connect to the girl. I didn't believe them as father and daughter, especially when Zac Efron still looks like he's 23 years old. So to me, when I see him, I know there's 23-year-old fathers out there, but I don't see a father when I see Zac Efron. No.
Some people want to call him daddy, but
I know one. But not a bad week though. 3.8, considering it also debuted on Peacock this week. So kind of split that purse as far as, people will stay and watch it at home. I was the only one in the theater when I went and saw it. Go figure. And now I understand why. Number 3, still on the countdown after 6 weeks, is Sonic the Hedgehog 2. $4.6 million to add to a $175 million purse. This is the third highest grossing movie of the year currently, and Sonic 2 is still kicking ass. I can't be mad at it because I felt this was a better movie than the first one. More fan service for sure, but if that's the way you got to go, man, it's the safe pillow. It's what you use. I liked it.
I liked the first one a lot. I still haven't seen the second one yet, but I love the first one. I'm not surprised that this is doing that. It's doing that well.
Yeah, 175, proving that video games do have a place at the theater, if they're done right.
Yep.
So this is one of those rare cases.
There's a lot of movies I got to see.
Yeah.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, I got a whole list here if you want to go through them. For now, we'll just stick with number 2, and that's another animated film, The Bad Guys. The Bad Guys came out in theaters 4 weeks ago. It is now at $66 million. Sam Rockwell is in the lead as the Bad Wolf. This takes a lot of animated villains and puts them together as this team, a heist team that tries to steal a diamond from a gala show. And it's interesting. It has a lot of tropes about heist films like Ocean's 11 and things like that, but seen in a kid's universe, seen through cartoon. So they have creative ways of manufacturing these laughs and these gags. I thought it was solid. I thought for a kid's movie, especially from this studio, DreamWorks hasn't been hitting it out of the park lately, but I feel like this was their way to get back up on the horse and compete more with Pixar.
Has that movie been delayed quite a bit?
What's that? The Bad Guys?
Yeah.
Yes.
I feel like I saw a preview for it over a year ago.
Last summer, it was supposed to drop in August. So that's probably where you're getting it.
Yeah. I remember seeing that. And then I saw it again, I think during the Batman trailer or the Batman, like the trailers of the Batman movie. And then I'm like, I swear that was already out.
Yeah, you probably saw it last summer. I can tell you, though, it's nothing to do with its creative. They probably just wanted an audience to go with it.
Yeah.
And like I said, $66 million. So it is making purse. It's COVID numbers. Obviously, if this was in normal times, you'd probably hit 100 million with this film.
Are we still in COVID?
Yeah, unfortunately, because it's spiking up again. It's kind of our thing.
Okay, we should let's just go on to number 1.
Okay. Better news. We brought up this movie a second ago, one of the many that Ryan has not seen yet, and that's Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. $61 million in its second week, bringing its total already to $292 million. God damn. Jesus, man.
I got to see it still.
Yeah.
I didn't even
know.
know.
Supposed to see that. I don't know what ever happened. We forgot.
Yeah.
What I love about this movie is obviously it's directed by Sam Raimi, who did the Evil Dead films. He did the first couple Spider-Man films from the Tobey Maguire universe. And you get a lot of that flavor in this film, not only in the visuals, but also in the attitude. This is very much a horror movie. It feels like it from start to finish. You have no mistakes that this is a horror film. It's not watered down horror. It's PG-13, but it's definitely PG-13 with a bite to it. And I had a lot of fun in this. It feels like they took out Ash from the Evil Dead universe and just put in Doctor Strange. So
Alicia won't like this movie. She doesn't like horror movies.
Then no. Yeah, I would say leave her out of this one.
Yes. No. Okay, so anyways, I pulled up the Magic City Drive-In to see what was playing there, and it's playing there. But you know what the second movie that's playing is after that?
Morbius.
Jungle Cruise.
What? That came out like 3 years ago.
Screen 2 is The Bad Guys and Sonic 2.
That's recent.
Screen 1 is Doctor Strange and then The Jungle Cruise.
That doesn't even pair well together. Like, they're not even two of the same movies.
They didn't have another movie to put there?
Even Morbius would be like, it's not a movie that I would put, but like...
Jungle Cruise is old.
Yeah.
Oh, I just thought that was interesting. It's playing at the drive-in, though.
Jungle Cruise.
I don't know, bro. That's fucking weird. Jungle Cruise. It's got to have been a year and a half ago.
2018. Yeah, 4 years ago.
The Jungle Cruise?
Yeah.
It's got to be an error. It's got to be it's a typo?
2018.
No, I mean that they're playing that. Why are you playing the Jungle Cruise after Doctor Strange?
I'm trying to see what the pairing is, if there's even a star. There's nobody who's in both movies. There's no...
Yeah, it's just weird.
That makes no sense. Like, I could see Spider-Man. I could see Morbius. I could see... I thought there was another superhero movie recently. Batman.
There's plenty of things. I mean, even just a new movie.
Yeah,
just a new movie. The other two are new movie releases. Why is that one the Jungle? I don't know.
I mean,
Rock's trying to get extra money. I thought it was good too.
I thought it was fun, but I don't
say The Rock trying to get extra money.
Rock's trying to get some extra money. He's like peddling it off for more views.
Well, he's got to pay for that Hall of Fame.
Yeah, bro. Anyhow.
But that's the weekend box office this week, which leads us to our final conversation piece of the night. Shows we're watching this week. I wanted to talk about and highlight some shows that each of us have checked out. The first one I wanted to get into was Candy, which is what Ryan is currently watching.
Yeah, I just finished it. I didn't realize how short it was.
How many episodes?
Only 5 episodes.
Oh, that's easy.
It's a mini series, so it was good. I enjoyed it thoroughly. Jessica Biel was the only reason I watched it, but then ended up really enjoying the show.
Does she transform in the role? Like, do you see her or do you see a character?
You always, I feel like, are gonna see Jessica Biel, but
if you want to,
yeah. But I mean, she did good with the role for sure. it's odd. This is like the second time in more recent films or shows for her that she's played like this dark character. She played it in the what was that other Netflix series? There's like 3 seasons of it, and she was now it's gonna make no sense.
Ooh,
I can't think of the name.
I'm interested too, because I thought this was her first dark turn.
No, she played it in fuck. I don't know. I'll think of it. But anyways,
It's got a catchy title.
it was something
Yeah,
similar.
I'm sold.
Fuck.
I could tell you were getting ready to say the same thing.
Anyways, regardless of that, yeah, it was good. It was a good show for 5 episodes. I mean, it's a quick watch.
Mhm.
I watched the first 4 straight through and then watched the 5th one because I fell asleep. But I would give it a watch. It's got the other. So I told you, Porn Stash.
Yeah.
From Orange is the New Black.
Which I can't see him as anything else.
I know, it's super weird. Did any of you guys watch
Master
Yellow
Chief.
Jackets?
No, that was
No.
yours. You were talking about.
Okay. The one of the main from Yellow Jackets is also in this.
Okay.
Outside of that, not too many notable people, but I would definitely give it a watch. It's like a murder, mystery, drama, suspense miniseries.
Is the mystery good though? It keeps you gripped.
Yeah. It's definitely it definitely holds your interest. I would absolutely give it a watch.
Okay.
If you're into any of that kind of murder mystery, watch serial killer shows type things, it's based on a true story. It's based on a real person.
Okay.
This took place in Texas in like, I don't know, the 80s, I think 84.
Also, it is a
like,
true story.
Yeah, it's a true story, and it's interesting. I didn't realize it at first, and I was like, why go through all the trouble of filming this so dated? Because everything is very, very dated. And then I realized because it was based on a true story. That was the only reason that they took the time to have everything so old school. So
see, when I saw the previews, I noticed like her clothes. I'm like, those are very outdated, but I figured that was just because the character is maybe so outdated too. Like it takes place in modern times, but like I figured that she just dresses like that as a conservative or whatever her personality is.
The Sinner. And you guys watch The Sinner?
Oh God, sounds familiar, but I never watched it.
That was the other one that she was in. It's it was on Netflix. There's 4 seasons of it.
Oh, wow.
And it's a darker kind of like murder mystery type show. And she was in that with a similar role. And that was the first time I'd ever seen her like that. So then when I saw this one, I was like, okay, she's kind of going down that darker road with some of the roles she's taking on. So
break the typecast of Seventh Heaven and all that.
With her hair, I just think Justin fucking Timberlake. I swear, when you're looking at her, it's just like, God, you look like fucking Justin Timberlake.
Is it like curled?
It's super curled, like fucking Ruth from Ozark.
Julia Garner, man, she can't escape those curls.
It is wild. Her hair is super short, big old frame glasses, and it's interesting. But I told you that one episode's episode 2, minute 24.
Yeah,
it's all you, bro.
And where is this showing on?
This is on Hulu.
Okay.
Miniseries on Hulu.
Cool. That's a recommend there from Ryan.
Secondary, HBO has their own version coming out later this year.
Really?
Based on the same story. Interesting back-to-back. 2 opposing platforms.
That's
doing
strange. Yeah.
A mini series or show on the same, just all at once. Like, I don't know why they picked this story that they both happened to release at the same time. But yeah, theirs is coming out later this year.
You're gonna watch the HBO one despite
Absolutely.
you know now everything about this one?
just to see who does. I like to see who does it better. And the story was good. It was an interesting story. Worth a watch. If you got Hulu, check it out.
It's on Hulu.
Hulu.
I also checked out a murder mystery, and it is called The Staircase, which is currently playing on Cinemax, but it's part of the HBO Max channel if you have HBO Max.
Yep.
So this is 4 episodes in right now of an 8-episode arc. It stars Colin Firth as Michael Peterson, who it's based on a true story, happened back in 2001, right around the September 11th times. It even highlights that day with a certain coincidence of its own in the murder mystery that's unfolding before our eyes.
Okay.
So Colin Firth, I feel like after watching, Netflix also has a 13-episode arc on the same real life story. It takes you through the events in real times with the real people, in the story involved in it and all that. I feel like Colin Firth is a bad casting as much as I love Colin Firth. He's directed in a way where it's almost like you look at him and you go, immediately, I know that guy is guilty. I have no doubt about it. The way he's acting, he's weird. I have no doubt there's something wrong with that guy. That's not what the real Michael Peterson was. He was very charismatic. He was very open and personable. I kind of got that in the Netflix watch. I watched that alongside this one, and I noticed, I'm like, right away, like, Michael Peterson really loves his wife. I have doubts now all of a sudden, like, and I don't want to say right away that this guy is guilty, because he has a lot going for him. There's not a great motive. As the story unfolds, the motive develops a little more.
Yeah.
But I'll say, like, there's a lot of questions surrounding this night in question. His wife falls down the stairs, busts her head open, has lacerations on her head, but no brain trauma whatsoever. So it's like something scratched her and, protruded her skin, but yet she doesn't have any internal damage.
Right.
So it's interesting. And it kind of takes you through, all the theories and everything. There's even one called the owl theory, which I think, strangely enough, is the thing that is actually true.
Yeah.
If you go on Netflix, this is a deleted scene that I have no understanding why they didn't add this to the series itself, but it makes so much clear. And I feel like it's the only thing that makes sense, strangely enough. But as for the show, the show on Cinemax, we're midway through right now. They do a good job of pretty much highlighting the main events without the downtime of the Netflix show. So I think if you're going to watch one, I would say the Cinemax one is the one I would go with. It's 8 episodes, and it seems a lot tighter than the Netflix series, which covers literally everything about this.
It's a week-to-week release.
Yes. Thursdays, it's playing on. So the 5th episode will be released tomorrow. And yeah, I think it's acted strongly enough. Like I said, Colin Firth is there. I don't feel he's right for the role, but he's still acting his ass off. Toni Collette is in it, and she's in fucking everything. Obviously, my best role of hers was Hereditary. But it's got Sophie Turner from Game of Thrones. She plays one of the daughters. Odessa Young is another upcoming actress that I really like. But yeah, it's cool. It is very gritty at times. It gets very violent. It's not afraid to show color in the boundaries of gore. And I recommend it for anybody who has heard of this case, anybody that doesn't like this case. I feel like there's a lot fascinating and unique about it. And it's not only showing you the life of the Petersons, but it's also kind of raising a lot of questions about how we depict court cases in this country and how we shape the narrative for who we want the public to see as guilty, who they're not guilty. It's a very interesting conversation piece, and I recommend it to everybody. I'm 4 episodes into this Cinemax installment, but I have to say an 8 out of 10 right now.
Nice.
Solid enough.
I saw it says season 1, which is weird. Is it going to be a more, I mean, do they make that more than one season?
They can because the story covers 16 years. So that's why the Netflix series was made by 2 French filmmakers, and they're even in the Cinemax installment.
Okay.
And they're actually characters in that. Strange enough, they recast some as like black people to white people or white people to black people. Interesting casting decisions there, but I won't go there.
Yeah.
But yeah, it covers 16 years. And when they did their installment, it was 10 episodes originally. They added 3 more when the case picked back up in 2016.
Wow.
So there's a lot to go with it. I won't spoil anything. They have one court case in 2002 that gets settled, and then it gets picked up again in 2016. And you'll see why. There's a lot with the case that was very sketchy.
Got it. I had started the Netflix version and got maybe a couple episodes in, and I don't know if I lost interest or just didn't finish it, but I never finished it though. So
they leave the camera on. They don't do a lot of interviews. It's just film everything that we see going on. That's boring.
I'm gonna watch this one.
Yeah, I think I was 10. I was just looking it up on Netflix. I was 10 episodes in.
Oh damn! So you got pretty far into it.
There's 13, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got through it. I'm gonna have to watch the Cinemark. You said it's on HBO Max?
Yeah. The Cinemax one is, and then the Netflix one still has that. I watched the 4 episodes of the Cinemax and the 13 of Netflix all in 2 days.
Oh Jesus.
I binged all this shit in 17 episodes because I want to know everything about it.
Yeah.
And I'm interested to see, especially this coming week, there's a lot of developments that I feel in episode 5 that they need to nail that for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely recommended. And then our final show that we're going to talk about this evening, I've been putting off for a few weeks, and I finally caught up to it. Dan, did you finish Ozark?
I did.
Okay, so we're all on the same page with this, correct?
All watched it, all finished it.
This is a spoiler discussion, so
spoil me, baby.
Obviously be very careful treading forward. So I want to start off with you guys. I want to ask some questions here. Season 4, did it live up to the hype?
Yes.
Okay.
For me.
Little hesitance there, though. Why?
I had to think about, because it's split, try to remember what happened that first.
7 and 6.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think it did. I think a lot of shit happened, and it happened fast. I think I enjoyed the whole entire series, start to finish.
You're satisfied with the resolution and everything?
I am.
Okay.
I am.
Okay.
I love the way they did it.
Okay.
I know there's a lot of hate.
Anything that you would do different for, after watching it?
I don't think so.
No.
I mean, I'm not a writer or director or anything, but I think they played the whole thing out the way a show should end.
How about the acting? Who's the show stealer for you?
I mean, I love Ruth.
Seems to be a lot of people's favorite character.
But I mean, because she got drug into it.
Yeah.
She wasn't, that was never her intention, was to be what she became.
She's their Jesse Pinkman.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And I like to see the resolution that they had for her up until the very end.
Mm-hmm.
But I knew that was going to happen.
As did I.
You knew that something was going to happen. But the fact that she started to make things better for herself and wanted to go a legit route, I think was awesome.
Ryan, after the excitement of season 3, did this one live up to and balance that arc pretty well?
Yeah, I thoroughly enjoyed it. I would have liked to have seen more. I don't understand where the story. I don't know why they ended it. I don't know what the rush to end it was. It felt like they could have done more.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think it ended badly. I think that they left us guessing and kind of wondering where things go, and I enjoy that. I think that there was a route they could have went that would have been super obvious.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if they would have killed off Wendy and what's his name? What's Bateman's name? What's his name
Marty.
in the show?
Marty. Yeah, Marty Bird.
I think a lot of people were expecting like them to die, or at least Wendy to die, and I think that would have been too obvious. Ruth being killed off was a shock to me. I didn't see that coming, just because, like Dan mentioned, they spent a lot of time setting her up for success and like her bettering herself and where her life was going. So for them to kill her off, I didn't see that coming.
You kind of think if anybody's going to make it out of this, it's going to be her.
Yeah. And I wish I would have liked to have seen that. I think the Jesse Pinkman correlation is perfect.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have seen her go on and see what she does. They could have done a 5th season.
Mm-hmm.
I think they had enough context.
Oh, for sure.
Even if it was like 4 and a short 5th season, I think there was a lot that they introduced in this season that like got put in so late into the series that
kind of shoehorned,
that it kind of got rushed, you know, like the changing over of power with the sister coming on board, who ends up killing off Ruth, you know, like where does she go? What happens with that? What's going to go on with Wendy and their drug cartel stuff, with the son fucking killing off the private detective? Like there was so much that happened all at one time. I just want more from just such a great show. I would love to have seen more. And I think they had the ability to take it, you know, maybe 6 more episodes, but I loved it. I mean,
I will say
a top series. It was fantastic.
It went from like 40 miles an hour to 120
fast
in that last couple episodes.
Yeah.
It was a
lot.
It just felt like a lot at once, like real quick. It just like changed course.
They unloaded a lot. Yeah.
I wanted to see the house that Ruth was building.
Yes, dude.
With the pool. And
yeah. I text Ryan.
You don't know what rich people do.
I'm like, why the hell are they concreting the pool before they do anything else with the house?
Yeah.
Like, what the hell? Who does that?
Because Dan, you don't know what rich people do.
I really was hoping and like waiting in anticipation for Ruth's roommate to snipe the drug lord lady like she did the.
I'm talking Rachel, are you?
Yeah, Rachel.
Okay.
You know how she shot the bodyguard
Yeah.
guy? I was really waiting for when she was being approached by the cartel sister.
Mm-hmm.
I was really waiting for fucking Rachel to fucking snipe her from the roof, because that would have been amazing to me.
But she didn't know.
I know. I just wanted her to somehow know, like that boat scene at the end. Jesus, the anxiety that was going on during
That's
that
so sudden.
scene.
Like it happens, but it doesn't build up to it.
Fuck,
It just
yes,
that
what you're gonna say.
Pharmaceutical.
Yeah, fuck that bitch.
Bitch.
Oh yeah.
Fuck her.
Scared little.
it just happens too. Like that's what I love about it. Like anytime they always kind of overplay their hand there, they show their cards early when it comes to shows like this. Like it'll build up with some roaring, thunderous score, and you'll know that a death is coming here any second. But this one, man, it was just like life. It was just like walked up, done. And there was no second thought about it. They transitioned to a scene perfectly right after it.
I did like that Ruth didn't go out like a bitch either, though.
No.
Yeah.
She like
so we're gonna
held her
this?
pride in her ground. She said, you know what? Fuck you. Like,
We
this
can
is who I
fucking
am.
do this or not.
Yeah. I love Ruth, man.
And that's what I don't get about a lot of the critique that I've read about the finale when it comes to this, the resolution. I obviously think a lot of people's problem is Ruth dying. To me, a lot of what, like Dan said, resonated with me. That had to happen.
Yeah.
She was playing with thunder and she was ready to get struck for sure.
Yeah.
So like when she kills the new cartel, her son, the one that ultimately kills her, I knew, I'm like, there's no coming back from this. This is the defining moment in your life right here.
Yeah.
And she knew she had to avenge. I understand why she did that. She had to avenge her cousin, her nephew, whoever that was.
Her cousin.
Her cousin. Yeah, I always forget the family correlation there. But like she knew she had to. So I understand the motivation behind it and everything. I'm just like, when she did it, I'm like, don't do this. This is just learn from this mistake or something, or put him in jail or fucking do, you know. I'm like, when you kill him, it's so gory. They just shoot him right at the office there in Chicago and you see blood just spill out. I'm like, yep, that blood is going to come back to haunt you big time. And I knew it was coming.
Sucks.
The way they kind of play that scene out, though, you almost think that, like, you know, the mother is holding the gun in the hand, and it's almost like she had second doubts there at first. You know, you're like, she is going to make her way out of this. This is fine. So we know Ruth's not going to die, obviously. And then, bam, that second instinct.
Slow motion bullet.
Yeah.
I was pissed.
It's the thing I've always said about any show, especially a drama. And this is especially the case for Breaking Bad, which is the shining example here. There has to be stakes to all of this devastation. You're continuously raising. The stakes are building and building. And if there's no payoff to that, I feel disappointed. I've heard this is a lot of what happens in Game of Thrones, but I can't really counter on that. But to me, like, Breaking Bad was always perfect because obviously Walter died. Jesse's pretty much the only one that makes it out. Everybody else is expendable. Mike dies, which broke my heart.
Dude, when Mike dies, it's fucking awful.
And watching Saul, I kind of just keep thinking that. I'm like, you don't have many days
we were
left.
just talking about that.
But I enjoyed season 4. I don't think it was my favorite. Season 3 was so fucking good, man. I mean, season 3 to me was like perfect.
It continued. It just continued to impress for me each season. That it's one show that I was heavily looking forward to
each week,
binging. Like once it came on, I gotta get my ass on the couch, turn it on, and just watch it as often as possible.
So maybe I missed something, and maybe the answer is real simple. I think you guys will say a one-word answer here, but what was in the goat? What was in the
ashes?
Okay. But which is basically
ashes.
Evidence.
But yeah, that's why he wanted it. That's why the private detective wanted it, because they know, because they're all still playing dumb that they don't know Ben's dead.
Okay.
But all this time they've been holding his ashes.
Gotcha. Yeah, because they put him in the crematorium.
And he knew. That's why he kept asking about the cookies whenever he'd visit Ruth. Did you feel that cookie jar yet? He thought it was weird. It was Ben's ashes.
You think
but yeah, I mean, I think that's a weird deduction to make out of a cookie jar.
Yeah.
Well, I think he knew, he was playing games for sure. He knew something was up.
Yeah.
Like,
I know, but
they're
for him
keeping
to,
this very close and very tight.
Yeah. I don't know.
Yeah.
I thought that was odd. That, I mean, must be a good detective.
Yeah. He was pretty good. I hated the guy before him, like in the first couple seasons, the gay guy who, man, that guy was a son of a bitch. The white guy.
I don't remember. No, I gotta go back. So Ashley's never seen it.
Okay.
So we're gonna start it from the beginning, and so I'm gonna rewatch it and see.
When that guy ate it, I fucking clapped aloud. I was like, good, fuck him. Hate that guy.
My thing is, I don't, and maybe it's just because of their out of necessity, but I was shocked that both Wendy and Marty made it the whole series. You know, like you were saying with stakes, you know, like taking Walt out, he was one of the main people.
Yeah. It takes a lot of balls to kill your main character.
With all the fuck ups and stuff that happened along the way with them and everything. I was really surprised one of them didn't go. I was really hoping Wendy was going to get.
I thought,
man.
the car crash was going to be it for her.
Yeah.
I was hoping.
I was wondering if Wendy was going to end up in the asylum in the end. I was like, she might just fucking stay here.
Right. I would have been okay with her going though.
The car crash was like, holy shit.
Oh,
like
I know.
That was wild.
That caught me by surprise.
Well, and they put it, what is it, the first episode of the 4th season that they show you it, but it doesn't happen for like 6 episodes later. Like, it's not the same episode when it happens. They show you that, and then they wait a couple episodes, and then you notice the road, you notice a couple of shots, familiarize you to it. You go,
yeah,
oh fuck, it's about to happen right now.
Yeah,
that's such smart filmmaking. I love that shit.
Great fucking show, man.
Yeah. But grades on it, as far as the whole, let's do season 4 and the whole series. 2 grades. Go.
Me?
Yeah.
Season 4, I'd have to give like an 8 out of 10, and then a 9.5 out of 10 for the whole series.
On the same 8 for season 4, and then
I wish it were.
I mean, I can't give it a 10 overall just because season 4 was an 8, but a 9. I'd say a 9. A very high 9 for overall. I mean, it's something I could easily rewatch. And thoroughly enjoy the character buildings, the suspense of the show. I mean, it built up every season. It just got more suspenseful, and there was so much anticipation each episode that they filmed it so well the way they set it up. Like, you couldn't wait for that next episode. There was no stopping. You know, it wasn't one where you're like I don't know how some people. I was talking to my buddies from work about it, and they were like, "Yeah, I got to season 4," and then I was like, "Yeah, I'll pick it up later." I'm like, "No, like I
resolution.
can't stop. Like
I did that too.
I need to know. Like I'll stay up. I think one night I was up till like 2:30 in the morning. I was like, I can't stop watching this. I need to know what happens. When a show can be set up like that, you know you're hooked.
Yeah.
You know, it was fantastic.
First off, my grade is the exact same as yours for both. I think the one thing that this show does better than Breaking Bad is that the weakness that Breaking Bad has is that first season gets off to a little bit of a slow start. This show, from the very first episode, when his best friend and his co-realtor, what's their job? They're like mortgage broker. They're like brokers or something. Okay.
Something financial. That's why he's so fucking smart.
His best friend dies. And that's right off the bat. You've set stakes right away. You've let us know that not only is this cartel ruthlessly dangerous, they don't care who has to eat it, but also that Marty is smart enough to get himself out of these kind of predicaments, and that he's a very worthy asset to their cause. So yeah, I have to agree. I think it's a 9 out of 10 for me overall. I would give season 3 is that's the ultimate year for me. I think that's the one that raises its cause. It would be like an 8.5, but season 3 was so good that I knock it up to a 9. Season 4 was an 8 out of 10 for me. I feel like the first couple of episodes of the first half of it, it's almost like it takes its time too much. I hate that Rachel's arc kind of got muddled in because she was one of my favorite characters. I felt like she was so important when they brought her back, but then they almost had nothing to do with her at that point. She's, Ruth's right hand, but at the same time, like, that relationship isn't really developed as strongly as it should be.
Right.
So I felt like she was the sacrifice probably this season, unfortunately, but I don't have a problem with the ending. I think the ending is solid, and it just kind of lets you know that there are bad people among us, always that will always have their stamp and their hand on every cookie jar that they eat out of.
Yeah.
Literally and figuratively.
Yeah.
So
Great
that's it.
Series.
That's it for Hollywood Report.
Great series.
Yep.
Well, we made it.
Amazing.
We made it through episode 69, and it was really not sexual. I'm sorry to disappoint you. We did enjoy our sprites. We had 2 successes and a fail.
I wouldn't say enjoyed.
We made it through successfully, but did not enjoy.
Yep.
I'm still bloated and
gassy.
I farted twice and I burped, I think 3 or 4 times.
You didn't belch. I was surprised by your limited belching. I had to just fucking release all of that gas out of my body. Like, it was just like built up inside of me.
I farted, like I ripped it.
I think I could have made it.
You could have made it. You want to retry it? I got another one.
No.
You definitely could have made it.
It was tough though. I mean, it was tough. I think that some of the people on TikTok, it's probably for show or like views.
Yeah.
Because I mean, it was hard by all means. It wasn't like a fluke challenge. Like, it was definitely difficult to do.
I felt it. You went more fast, right? Like yours was.
I was just trying to not stop drinking to prevent anything from being able to come up.
Okay.
So I was just trying to consistently just drink it.
I kept like swallowing it, like not just the bottle of itself, but like I would, when I'm sitting there, I'd be like,
Oh yeah, you had to like hold it in. I had to like clench my stomach to try and keep myself from I mean, it was painful.
Swallowing your breath.
Swallowing your breath. This one will be on the air at some point in the foreseeable future. I don't know when. You might hear it at Christmas. You might hear it Halloween.
2025,
Might be
baby.
Memorial Day. I don't know. But you'll get this episode, and I hope you appreciate it. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff. We need some guests, guys, ladies, gents.
I agree.
Friends and family. We'd love to have you on the show just to hang out. If you got something cool to talk about, if you got a cool job, if there was a cool life experience, if you just want to hang out with me on the couch, let's get some guests in.
Who doesn't?
I surpassed Jesse.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep. Third all time.
Dan's a third all time views on the show. You could hop in behind him.
Yep.
You know
what it took you to get that? A 69.
69.
my favorite number.
Some shows might be just me and Chris. So
sorry.
Come join us. Come
Hey.
hang out. Summer hangs. We got drinks and food.
Drinks.
And a good time. So appreciate y'all for listening.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in, y'all. That is Made to Motivate Podcast. Make sure you tune into the show every week. Like, share, subscribe, hit the bell on YouTube so you know when the new videos launch. And check out our pages individually if you can. We appreciate the support. At JesseYoungSI on Twitter. Chris, the Film Freak Kessinger. Check out the Film Freak Review page on Facebook. And I am Ryan Weiss. You can check out rockeverywhereinc.etsy.com to follow my art and apparel page. We appreciate the support. And, of course, at Made to Motivate Podcast on all social media sites. Thanks again, and we'll check you next week.